What's going on, fam? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Let me get this off. Hello, everyone. I hope that you all are. Get this together. Hope that you all are having a pretty good morning. I low key was gonna come do this earlier. I had to plan it everything because I'm trying to do the commentary kind of differently now that I'm doing StreamYard and all that. And I was gonna do like I've been doing as far as my edits and stuff, but the way I wanted to do it, it was gonna take too long, like to export and everything. Talking about 3 hours, I'm like, it is not that serious. So I was able to do it the way that I want to. Not really the way I want to, but I guess to the best of my ability with the time frame that I have. But as y'all can see on the screen, this is a response to BubzDaGawd, his latest video called "How I Escaped the Democrat Plantation." Now, I'm gonna give you a little backstory. I've been subscribed to him for a very, very long time. I've seen all of his growth, all of his transitions with his YouTube channel, and I'm grateful that he's able to be in a space now where he's expressing how he feels. Of course, it might be what is considered an unpopular opinion, especially in the Black community as well as the LGBT community of color, just the LGBT community in general. And it's very interesting because once again, BubzDaGawd also identifies as Black, as well as, I don't want to say LGBT because now he said he's not part of that, but I guess it would be safe to say same gender loving. So it's interesting, and I'm kind of curious to hear more about his perspective on it. I'm done with trying. I ain't gonna say done because I really didn't even do it, but like I don't want to keep going, like having echo chamber type of conversations. I don't want that. I want to be able to have viewpoints and perspectives that are opposing to mine that can help me grow. Because once again, it's not black, it's not white, it's gray. We're all here. We're all sharing this unique experience together. And for the longest time, we've been talking at each other and not literally to each other. So I'm grateful for him being able to express his political standpoint. Me personally, I used to believe in the political system, but I mean, to me, it's two wings on the same bird. I do feel like the Democratic Party has been pandering to communities that are disparaged, that are underprivileged, okay, to a lot of uh, oppressed people. And the Republican Party, I feel like they want to continue to do the oppressing to these people. Of course, when you deal with supremacy and you deal with exclusivity, everybody else can be affected except you. But we're all equal, we're all human beings. So I'm grateful that at least I'm alive to be in what is known as the information age. We're sharing information. Um, there are people out there now that are sharing their experiences that are a part of fact, because people got to go through it, and experience is the best teacher. So again, these conversations are needed. My commentary in regards to, in response to Ron's, is not meant to denigrate him or demean him. I believe you can still be cool and agree to disagree without there being any malice or any sort of ill intention or feelings. That's at least just what I feel. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and read my disclaimer real quick, because we are going to be using the audio from Ron's latest YouTube video, because I want you guys to hear what he's saying, and at that time I can pause and stop and give my commentary, so it's like we're having a conversation. Let me go ahead and get this real quick. 1 second, y'all. And again, this live was not even planned. I just saw it. I was supposed to be working on Beagle News for this second episode this Saturday, which I really need to get my shit together, honestly, because I've kind of been doing other stuff. But I don't mind doing stuff like this. Like, this is what I really want to do. I want to have conversations. I want to understand other people, and I want other people to understand, other people as well. Like, we're all in this together, and it's really about finding that element. Yes, we have all these lines of division that we feed into through our own fears. I feel like everybody's doing it, but that's why we have to acknowledge those fears so that we can move forward, okay, and actually progress. If we don't progress, it dies. Anything that stays stagnant or stale, it will eventually die. I mean, just look at nature. Nature is with this whole cycle of death and rebirth, death and rebirth. So things have to die. That's including traditions. That's including cultural viewpoints. I mean, things are always growing and moving and evolving. And us trying to have it one particular way over everybody, I feel like that's not right. Again, I feel like there's a way that we all can coexist with each other peacefully. I mean, we're all here for a reason. So it's about finding out what that reason is. Let me find this disclaimer, y'all. Hold on. Disclaimer, copyright. Hold on, y'all. Where is it at? Here it is. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made, okay, for fair use for purposes such as criticism, okay, comment, which we're going to be giving a commentary, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. So I'm not infringing in reference to me giving commentary to his commentary. I mean, you put it on YouTube, and YouTube is a public platform, so people have the right to speak just like he does. And I would never ever want to take anybody's freedom of speech away at all. I would hate to do that, because if I take someone else's freedom of speech away, that means mine is limited. So I feel like we all can hear each other, and I think that's the problem. We don't know how to hear each other. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this video here, y'all. Let's get in.
So, I am coming out with a video explaining how I am a conservative. I am black, I'm gay, and I'm a conservative. Over the past month, I've been sharing my conservative ideas across my various social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Not YouTube yet, but this will be my first debut on YouTube as a conservative. And you would think that I would be very nervous, but as I grow older and come to realize how idiotic I am for being Democrat, being a radical leftist for so long, not even understanding how much damage I was causing to my own nation. And first, let me say, I'm a proud American. I love America. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in America.
Sorry, y'all had my mic muted. I ain't gonna hold you. There was a part of me like, why do I feel like he trolling? I ain't gonna hold you. I'm like, come on now, Ryan. I hope you're not trolling us. I hope you're not trolling us. But I mean, if this is your political standpoint, again, you have a right to it. Never want to take that away. Let's continue with his commentary.
Because then I won't enjoy the same freedoms that I have here in other places. I want to give a little background on myself to let people know that I'm much more relatable than what the people who are going to give me a lot of backlash will make everyone believe. Somebody may believe that I'm some kind of plant. Somebody may believe that I'm getting paid. Is 100% not true. I'm not under anybody's campaign to come out and say that I'm black, gay, and conservative. This is something that I've discovered on my own time, on my own research. I spent months researching politics. I'm 25. I'm actually 26. I just turned 26. I'm 26,
Happy belated birthday.
and before turning 26, or before even turning 25, my whole life I've never been into politics. I've never voted. I never voted for a president. I felt like the system was rigged. I felt like systemic racism was true. I felt like the gay agenda was really an agenda to silence us LGBT people. So I was a huge advocate for the gay agenda. Um, Abortion, I was for abortion. I was never for abortion. Let me say this. Anybody who currently follows my social media platforms and anyone who is curious to see if there's any cap in my rap, you can go back through my history of Facebook posts, through my history of tweets, and see that I've always been pro-life. I've never agreed with abortion, but everything else, as far as indoctrinating people to believe that men who wear wigs are and should be respected as real women. I've spreaded that propaganda. I've spreaded how kids need to be involved in sexuality because gay needs to be everywhere. I've said these things vocally and publicly. I've lost friendships because I didn't agree that people treated, for example, trans women less than. I grew up in poverty. I grew up without knowing, still to this day, 98, 99% of my entire family. I believed in systemic racism. I believed in oppression. I was the kind of person who was looking for handouts. I was the kind of person looking for reparations. I was the kind of person pushing the gay agenda, trying to make everyone and everything LGBT, waving the flag as much as I could. In 2020, I partook in the blackout, Black Lives Matter, put a black thing silencing. I don't even understand what I was even going for now that I look back at myself. But nonetheless, it's been important for me to try to understand how did I end up being a blind rat to the Democrats outside of, of course, them using me to be a tool to push their agenda, which I believe the agenda is the gay agenda, the racial agenda, the agenda to castrate children and permanently mutilate them for life, when obviously people enter phases and obviously there's a gay agenda. I'll tell you this. I only gotten interested in politics because I wanted to find out who I am. I've always wanted to fit in somewhere. Like I said,
So he said a lot, which I mean, again, I'm this, I'm treating this as if though this is a conversation. You know what I mean? Like I don't debates, because people when they do debates, they have to try to have this mindset that they're right. I think when we have conversations, at least for me, not saying him, but just me personally speaking, when we have conversations, um, it gives us the chance to actually learn from each other. And some of the stuff that he is saying right now, like when he was talking about trans women and how, I used to be under the impression that, they were being disparaged, that they were being demonized, that they were being used and abused. and the fact that they're mutilating children at such young ages, that's when I kind of be like, but are y'all really doing all of the research though? Like all of the research though. Like one thing that we're forgetting is that we're forgetting the experiences of trans people. And yes, there are some trans people who excuse me, they end up transitioning and they may regret it and can't detransition. That is a reality and a fact for some. But to use it as a blanketed type of statement, that is where it gets wrong. It gets very, very wrong. We're taking isolated incidences and trying to make that applicable to the whole entire group. And then on top of that, especially with individuals who um, deal with gender dysphoria as far as the mental and the emotional aspect of it, as well as the physical. These are individuals who have studied to try to understand this. A lot of people who speak about trans don't really even know much about trans, which is why you have to talk to trans people and you have to do your research in reference to the trans experience. Do you get what I'm saying? I personally have, well, I used to have two. Unfortunately, one of the people in my life that I knew that was trans unfortunately passed away. Her life was taken from her. She was murdered. She was murdered, which unfortunately is a reality for a lot of trans women, especially trans women of color. But the one that's alive in my life, which I'm so thankful and grateful for, I just talked to her yesterday for a little while. Um, she's trans, and the stuff that she's been through. And I told her, I said, especially now that I'm paying for a StreamYard, I'm like, I need you to come on my platform so that we can talk about this, like to give your experience as a trans woman. And the stories that she's told me over the years, I've known her for like I think a little over 6 years now. A lot of people wouldn't survive that. They wouldn't survive that. Um, and I think the issue that a lot of people are missing, in my opinion, is the fact that LGBT and black people are speaking about the lack of quality of life that they're experiencing in a country that says that they're for them, but is not really for them. And like I said, as far as a political party, I'm not doing the political stuff no more as far as a political party. As far as left wing, right wing, no matter which wing, it's the same damn bird. The Democrats, like I said, are pandering to people who are hurting, who are stuck in this cycle of pain again with black people. 300, 400, 500 plus years of that emotional, mental, and spiritual abuse even to this day. And then you tell them to get over it when they're currently experiencing these things and there's insurmountable amount of evidence that supports that. But then even with black people, when we end up because we're hurt and we don't know how to let that hurt go or to heal from that pain and been taught through religion to just pray and let it go, there's other outlets that they have to use, and unfortunately that's when they start picking on other groups of people. When it comes to black people, LGBT, they pick on these individuals and these people. And then when these people stand up for themselves, it's a problem and it's an issue. Now, your explanation about how you felt like you was doing the gay agenda and stuff like that, that is your experience. Okay, that is what you have done, and that's understandable. And I accept that because once again, your experience is valid. But to make your experience the experience for everybody else, that's where it becomes problematic. That's when we stop listening to people. And I ain't gonna hold you. Personally, when I saw the video and I started listening to it, I was like, "No, Ron, what's going on?" Like, because once again, I've known. I ain't say I don't really know. I don't know Ron at all. But I mean, I've based on the videos that he shared. Because once again, I've been subscribed to him for a while. Um, I was kind of shocked a little bit because it's like, huh? Like niggas, you trolling? Like, what's going on? But it's like if this is serious, once again, I'm cool with that because I'm up. This is what I like. I like these type of conversations, real life conversations, and I'm just curious again to just give commentary and maybe hear some of y'all thoughts too on his experience because he is also part black. He's half black because he's black and Filipino, and he's also gay. So it's like now that you're going over to a very conservative side, a side that believes in conservative biblical, platonic, or nuclear family marriage between a man and a woman, how will your experience be appreciated and justified? Because, like you said, you changed political parties, and what did you say? I'm gonna let you say it. You said something about. Let's see if we can hear it again.
For life, when obviously people enter phases and obviously there's a gay agenda. I'll tell you this, I only gotten interested in politics because I wanted to find out who I am. I've always wanted to fit in somewhere.
So he just said the reason why he got into politics, or when he started getting into politics, is because he wanted to fit in somewhere. Understandable. I mean, with the Democrat and Republican, there are groups of people that want to fit in. Again, echo chambers. Of course, you want to be with people who understand you and accept you, and want you to live a very free and liberated life. But everybody wants to have that type of freedom, and then we get sectioned off and divided up, and then we start talking at each other instead of to each other to try to understand each other. So it's like now that you have found this new, I don't say this new identity, but I guess you found this another side of you that you have become aware of through you now becoming a conservative Republican. Um, Again, you wanted to fit in. How are you going to fit in? And this is my question to you. And you can use my commentary if you want to. If you want to respond to my commentary, if you want to use my audio like I'm using yours now, I give you full permission. I give you full permission. I have no problem with that. But again, how are you going to feel like you're fitting in and that you belong when this group of people have told you and have used as as one of their shields in the forefront for um, their opinions and expressions and views of life and what they feel the American life should be like? You and I don't fit into that because we are attracted to the same sex. We're both attracted to the same gender. So how is that going to fit in the narrative of the Republican Party when they're already telling you that? And I want to listen more because I ain't gonna hold you. No, Tino Shay is kind of giving a little bit of baby Christian Walker type of tease, girl, and I'm kind of getting a little nervous because it's like, no, Rod, come on, Rod, what's going on? Okay. But I'm just playing. But I mean, it kind of gives that type of energy. It does. Like Christian Walker is on the same type of tip. Like he's mixed. He's half black. He's half white. Even though you're Filipino, but he's still biracial. And he's also attracted to the same gender, but again, I don't see him at the conventions. I don't see him um, being invited to these events and podcasts and all this stuff to talk about these things. And if so, when they talk about his sexuality, he's very vague on it. And Ron does say something that's kind of telling later on in the commentary. But yeah, I just wanted to respond to that part.
Like I said, I grew up without a lot of my family, so I felt like I didn't really know who I am or who I was. So I was always trying to look for myself in people. So I started with black people. When you look at me, I'm obviously black, but I'm half Asian as well. My mom is Filipino, but I just claim black, which I have an issue with because I felt like when I was so in tune with Black Lives Matter, I felt like I would be shamed for having to claim my Asian side because in the black culture, which racism is a cultural issue. Let me say that racism is a cultural issue. And this really is a video. Let me say this really is a video to just come out as a conservative. I am developing a new series called Woke and Broke Conservative Commentary with Ron Vugado.
And we will be reviewing that. I already told y'all when I found out my body graph design and it told me that my strategy is to inform, baby, it lit more fire underneath my ass to get up here and to bring forth information. And I mean, if we're really talking about change here for everybody, if that's the goal, all lives matter. If that's really the goal, then it's like I'm going to do my part to make sure that we do that. So let's include the black lives, let's include the gay lives, let's include the trans lives, let's include the lesbians lives, let's include these people's lives if we're really all lives matter. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna do my part. So I'm excited for that. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. Let's continue.
that will debut on my Facebook and YouTube platform, and I will share clips across my Instagram and Twitter to promote it. And I named it Woke and Broke because it derived from a time recently, just a couple months ago, because in this 1 year, I went from being Democrat and racism exists and oppression and reparations to now here I am not believing in racism, not believing that I'm oppressed, not the same system that I believed oppressed me is the same system that I now believe gives me the tools to be amazing, but it's just been my fault. And I can't really blame the Democrats all the way because one, it was to my accountability that I was never into politics. Two, no.
I do have a question though. What tools have you been given now that makes you be like, you know what? Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, I am honest, but I'm just verbiage and stuff. And plus, I'm smoking right now. This weed, this goddamn BMF is so good. But but it's like, let me listen again, girl. Hold on, cause y'all know Bubs the guy sometimes be in the thought and then get through off,
It
then get back
was
on it.
to my accountability that I was never.
Oh yes, the tools that were given to you. What were those tools? And I do believe that a level of self awareness and self love is imperative. You need that. I feel like, me personally, again, my opinion, we all need self awareness. We all need emotional intelligence. And most importantly, we all need self love to understand ourselves. Because once we understand ourselves, we can understand other people. So, um, hey, what's up, Aaron? So I understand that you're taking accountability for your life, and that's good. And that's very, very good. You had to learn that. Um, when it comes down to black people and just people who are underprivileged and disparaged people, unfortunately, in this system, um, those resources aren't really available to us like that. A lot of mental health institutions are not available, and I ain't talking about mental health in the way that Ron, that Christian Walker, that a lot of individuals, whether it's on the left side, the right side, I don't care, either side, who feel that way about LGBT, which is your right. I'm talking about mental health in reference to dealing with things in your life and working through those emotions so that you can live your best life possible. We all have issues and problems. They're all energetic, and a lot of them stem from fear. So once we start dealing with the fear, that's when we'll be able to change. Again, just my personal opinion, just like you're giving your political opinion. Um, but those resources aren't there for black people and LGBT people like that. I wish there was more of it. So you're asking a group of people who have not been taught, and once again, black people, three, four, 500 plus years of psychological damage that has been done to us as black people. And this is unfortunately the black experience. And I mean, if there was a possibility to change it, I mean, I feel like we would have already changed it right now. Do you get what I'm saying? Our problem is that we're waiting for people outside of us to make that change for us. So it's really murky. The whole situation with racism, homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, just a lot of projecting of fear and discrimination and trying to find a way to be politically correct about it and stuff. It's like still talking about, it's like instead of saying motherfucker, it's like saying lint liquor. It's like you still cussing. So it's like at this point, we might as well just cuss and say the real things so that we can really deal with those things. And the information in reference to slavery and the psychological damage with black people, the ghost of the slave plantation psychologically has not been remedied. There's not there. Imagine dealing. You're talking about a group of people who dealt for the longest time in America, being told and shown that they are less than. Like there are literally movies. Watch The Birth of a Nation, not the remake, the original one. Look at all of the information they have on how white America treated black people and dared them to leave. I dare you to run away. Look what happened. So you have these people who are quote unquote free They're free physically, but they're not free psychologically and emotionally and spiritually. So now they're deprived of all that stuff. Kind of like what you were saying, Ryan. And this is just, again, my opinion. I don't know you. I'm just giving my opinion, and I'm not trying to denigrate you or talk about you. I appreciate your commentary, and I would love to be able to do a podcast with you and talk, because I feel like that would be dope, because you are a very smart individual. I'm just using this as opportunity to have this conversation. Cause this other motherfuckers, especially old Ninja Turtle bald head ass niggas, they don't want to talk to me. So maybe you'll talk to me and we can have a conversation about it. If not, that's cool. Again, I'm here to put information out. But kind of like what you said in reference to how you were looking for an identity, you were looking for a place to fit in, you was looking for a place to be appreciated outside of yourself. We're all looking for that. We're all looking for that, which is why all these subcultures and subgroups are being created. If we could just learn to understand each other, those lines of division that creates those subgroups that we're afraid of, that we don't talk to, but we'll talk about. Once we start having those conversations, then it will remove all that stuff. Again, black people haven't had the chance to do that. Black people have been surviving for the longest time, and whenever there seemed to be the pinnacle, we've gotten to this high point where we're going to get over the hump, we were knocked back down again. But once again, in my opinion, that's because we were putting our energy outside of us, trying to prove to other people our stuff. The civil rights movement, what was that? What was the civil rights movement? And the civil rights movement, because of what happened, gives both you and I the opportunity to even give our commentary right now on YouTube, to try to prove to other people. But that's just me, y'all. Let me, cause I can transmute some shit and turn shit that be damn 10 minutes into an hour and 30 minutes. Y'all know I will talk. Okay, but that's why I want to have conversations, because this is what happens when a lot of people aren't having these conversations. I have to talk about it. I have to go off on tangents, because it's such a big fucking thing. You can't just tackle it head on. You have to look at different angles. I forgot what his name was on the House of Dragons. He said in order to slay a dragon, you have to look at it from all angles. And even though Candace Owens, which Ryan would bring up because I believe that was the individual that inspired her. No shade. I mean, Candace is looking at things from a certain perspective, which is valid. And I feel like if she starts to have more conversations and deal with her own ego, we might be able to use some information that she has that would help us all look at the angle differently, so we can find that sweet spot, or the spot that will actually take the dragon out. Okay, but if we talking at each other and not to each other, we gonna fuck it up. Because this is a us thing now. That's the thing. So yeah, let me shut up and let's continue.
Into politics. Two, no one forced me to believe the things that I believed in. My series Woke and Broke came from a place where I was actually woke and broke. Like, here I am for these causes. I'm for Black Lives Matter, but here I am, I'm still broke. When black people say, and I'm an entrepreneur, let me say this, black people say all the time, support black business, but we spend thousands of dollars on Gucci and Dior for validation of outside people, and maybe.
And that's true, and that's absolutely right. But then again, there is research and history there. I think it's on YouTube. I'm gonna see if I can look it up right now. I think back in the '60s, they had this. It was a certain department store. I can't remember what it was, but I'm trying to think of the name of it. I really am. It's on the tip of my tongue. Where they had a training video, and they actually had a section in the video that taught white people how to sell products to black people. And when that happened, inside the tutorial, the video tutorial or demonstration, they were saying you want to push the highest brand on them. Oh, you're this. Help them keep up with the Joneses. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, look in the black community now with the whole trap thing and the drill rap and all this other type of death and destruction. What supports it? Money. Money. Let me get that money. I need that money. I need that money. And a lot of times, because of the system that we're in, because of racism, I mean, the fact that people want racism to disappear doesn't mean it's not going to just disappear because you want it to. Like, we all still got to deal with it. It's factually there. That's why the social climate is so damn hot right now, because we're so afraid to actually deal with it, and people don't want to be accountable for certain things. But in the system that we live in right now, that does handicap black people. It does, to where black people have to work harder. They already live in low income areas. Whenever they want to buy a car or a house, or they want to go to school or take a loan out for something, there's always higher interest rates and higher payments for people here than it is for people who live in gated communities and all that other type of stuff. That is factually evident. So when you living in the hood and you trying to make it work, but you got to work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs and all that stuff, and the money ain't really sitting in the way that it should be. Yeah, for a lot of people, it's gonna be like, damn, if I can get rich quick, I would. So let me steal, let me sell drugs, let me become a rapper. And we see the lifespan of rappers nowadays. So once again, these people are put in these predicaments, but they don't know how to get themselves out. And a lot of these people just want to be heard and want to be validated, just like you and I do. But it starts with loving ourselves first, realizing that. And once we realize that, we realize that we're a part of the community. And we have to be the change that we seek first. It starts with us. But when we don't do our self love, when we're still growing and evolving, and maybe our lens is murky sometimes, we will fall short of that. Because a real woke individual is going to check themselves first above all things. A real woke person is going to always check themselves first, because they realize that they are the God in their own life. And if I love myself, I will be able to spread that love to other people. And a lot of people are hurting and going back and forth with each other, and are mad at each other and jealous of each other and afraid of each other, because they don't feel that love. But if you give love, I promise you, love will transform. That's just my opinion. Let's continue.
Even our own people. Maybe we want validation from other black people, but nonetheless, I'm woke and broke. Here I am now. I've created platforms for, or I tried to use my content creation influence to support the LGBT cause. And there have been a lot of things that I didn't agree with on the Black Lives Matter and the LGBT, or the gay agenda, movement, that I didn't agree with, but I just went with it because I was so in dire need to fit in somewhere. I put myself in spaces and in conversations to understand LGBT people, because, like I said, I grew up impoverished. I grew up in a primarily black and Hispanic community, and I'm also in Alabama. So the LGBT influence here isn't that big, which is why before I made it my mission to make it big. Hence, I was partaking in the gay agenda. I'm not friends with any LGBT people. I haven't had true LGBT friends, so I felt like I can't be a activist and use my influence to push for LGBT issues if I'm not really aware of the issues. So
But you're gay. Like, you're gay once again in the South, where they still uphold a lot of those conservative viewpoints and ideologies. So I would love to hear more about your experience growing up gay. Like, were you ever judged for being gay? Were you ever called the F word? Were you ever discriminated against or gay bashed? Because racism and gay bashing, energetically, even though the circumstances and the looks of it are different and unique, the energy of it is still the same. It's discrimination against someone solely because of the color of their skin or their sexual orientation. And look at how the majority end up putting people in boxes so that they can understand them, as opposed to being open-minded so they can understand what it's actually about. Because again, you say something very telling later on in the video, to where I'm like, no tea, no shade, in reference to your points, you low-key contradicted yourself. Which is like, if you trolling, this is a good troll video. Like, nigga, no shade, if you over here trolling for real, I'm gonna have to give you your props. Because I was like, damn, I'm like, Ron, for real, where did this come from? Everybody just radically changing stuff, you know what I'm saying? You went from radical left to now radical right. You know what I'm saying? Not even an ease in, but it's okay. It's okay. It's your life. Do what you want to do. You grown. Okay? Do you. And I'm here for it.
I started putting myself in spaces to understand these things that the LGBT people were fighting for. And as I've gotten deeper in these discussions, I've started realizing like the shit these people are saying is completely idiotic. And I don't mean that in a hateful way. I promise you I don't, but it's completely idiotic. And for me to be a gay person, the same way black people say that black people can't be racist because they're black is the same way I can say I'm not homophobic, I'm not transphobic, because through those conversations, I promise you this, just like how racism is a cultural issue between black people and Hispanics, like for example, I've had people, I swear on my life, I've had people tell me, oh, stay out of the sun because you're going to lose your light skinness. I've had people tell me, and I've had to educate, especially black women who tell me, you have good hair, you have that good hair. And I hate when people say that because all hair is beautiful.
Okay, and that's understandable, but at the same time, again, culturally speaking, race, how systematic racism is, the Willie Lynch letter and how to divide up slaves and divide up black people even further. So put the light skinned people in the house and the dark. Like these you see you're saying cultural things. These are things that happen in the culture, in the black African American culture. So of course, when people have been trained that way for so long, and it's a psychological abuse that's happening. Again, these people were being murdered for reading, for writing, for seeing shit they weren't supposed to see. So imagine having to survive for that long psychologically. It would mess your mind up. So yeah, in that day, you would have black people that would say, "Ooh, girl, she got good hair. Ooh, she got that good hair. You got that Puerto Rican hair. I feel Puerto Rican. Bitty 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 bum bum." You know what I'm saying? Or like you said, oh, he stay out the sun, or what is known as the paper bag test, to where if your skin was the color of a paper bag and higher, you were good. But if it was darker than a paper bag, oh, you were nasty, you were disgusting. And let's even give it to the LGBT. I recently just did a video, a show actually called Bigo News, and one of the segments called Bitch What, Bitch What, Bitch What, that I did. Um, there's a trans woman by the name of Cherry the Boom who literally just shared the sentiments of colorism, which is a psychological tool of racism, if you link it back to that. So I understand that you're saying, oh, all things are good, and we're all good, and all hair is great and all hair is wonderful, but the people have been told that's not the truth. It's been proven outside of them that it's not the truth, unfortunately, and there's nobody there that's really trying to help them unlearn that so that they can learn that their hair is good. That's why reinforcement is good. We're talking about hair. That's why now a lot of black women are promoting natural hair. Little girls are now wearing their natural hair and not having their shit relaxed and permed out to where they goddamn baby hairs and leave out looking like it's left off or something. They're now rocking their queendom in their hair naturally. So you have these things out here, which again, LGBT, the quote unquote explosion of LGBT, it's just awareness. Because once again, these people had the narrative controlled for us and dared us to motherfucking change it. When it was their perspective and not ours, they were able to tell us what being LGBT was. So that's like a straight woman coming to you, Ryan, and telling you, oh no, not a straight woman. It's like a straight man trying to tell you what being gay is, but he's straight. He don't know. He doesn't have the experience. He didn't go through the experience of it to even really know for himself. So how you gonna tell me that? Okay, so I'll use this analogy then. If you had a white dude that grew up in the hood, I'm talking about the hoodest of hoods. You get what I'm saying? The hoodest of, I'm talking about red zone. You better keep turning right. Don't stop at no lights, nigga. Don't look at nobody. Don't grim nobody, bitch. And just hope they don't shoot your ass type of thing. He lived in the hood. He got he understood the black culture in the hood. There is a culture there, even though it's a very destructive one. It's still a culture there. But then he start. Let's say he wanted to help change the narrative about the black experience and wanted to learn more about the positive aspects of blackness. So he decided to dedicate his life to African American studies. He graduated with all A's and went to college for African American studies. Niggas got his master's degree and all that stuff. If you were to walk into a college campus full of melanated people or even white people who's trying to understand blackness, and your instructor comes in and it's a white guy with a dashiki on talking about Harambe, even though on paper, scholastically, outside of himself, it shows that he's qualified for it. But as a black person or a person who is half black, here's my question to you. Would you accept him being the teacher of African American studies and the black experience if he's not black? See, he's missing an important element. He's not black. So there are some things that he would never experience because he is not black. So we're missing people's experiences. And your experience is valid, but your experience, Ron, is not the only experience. No shade, no shade, which is why we have to educate ourselves a lot more so that we can understand each other. Let me take it back a little bit, just in case I missed something.
Stay out of the sun because you're going to lose your light skinness. I've
Okay.
had people tell me, and I've had to educate, especially black women who tell me, you have good hair, you have that good hair. And I hate when people say that because all hair is beautiful, all skin tones are beautiful, everyone is beautiful, everyone on this world. There is no selective group that is more supreme than the other, as Democrats want you to believe. They are the people who are.
Okay. Again, I'll just speak on my end from the knowledge that I know. There are literally videos and tests and experiments that have been done. The dial test is a perfect one. They would have a white dial and a black dial, and the majority of the people chose the white dial. Didn't want to choose the darker dial. That is an experiment. That was again what history has unfortunately revealed, and it's kind of like the energy is still the same. So, and again, I'm trying to understand because once again, you're half black, and again, this is just my observation. I could be, I'm gonna say ignorantly speaking. I've seen, at least from my understanding, a lot of people who are biracial understanding the black side of themselves when it comes to the validation of other people outside of them in blackness, like trying to fit in. Imagine how many light skinned people felt like they hold on, girl, gonna block your ass. Get on out with the shit. Thank you. Um, how many light skinned people had their own negative experiences of blackness because people judge them because in the society fairer skin mean you passed. There's literally stories of people who lied and said they were white so they were able to pass so they wouldn't have to deal with the black experience. Like these are all recorded, documented evidence of people doing this. But again, you have the right to believe what you want to believe. I will never take that away from you, ever.
Perpetuating these ideas and they're simply not true,
Mm-hmm.
and people are living that through their everyday lives. LGBTs, there's a lot of homophobia and
Mm-hmm.
transphobia and lesbian phobia within their own community.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Hurt people are hurting people, of course. Of course. I remember I saw a video where they were having this political talk because I guess there was a governor that was running for president who was LGBT, who was gay, and they had this political conversation with all different types of people from different ethnic backgrounds and political standpoints, but they're all LGBT. And I remember there was someone that was intersex there who was like, people don't understand my experience and, they judge me and stuff. And there was a trans woman who felt offended by that because she was like, we trying to get people to understand transness, but here your ass talking about you don't identify as nothing. What the fuck? So the more that people are hurting, the more there are going to be subgroups of other hurt people. coming together. That's why I say self love is important, and understanding and empathy and sympathy is important. Like, even with this commentary, I'm not up here reading you, dragging you, cussing you out. No, because that's not going to solve anything at all. And of course, you did nothing to warrant that. So, I mean, I'm a reasonable person. At least I am. I ain't saying you are. I'm speaking about me. But it's like, just because, okay, maybe again, ignorantly speaking, because I don't know you, just because you probably didn't have those experiences that a lot of other people are sharing or expressing, doesn't mean that it's not true. Two things. What did Candace Owens say? You know, the individual who said inspired you to speak and share your mind in this way. Which again, shout out to both of y'all. I appreciate y'all being honest. I can't be mad at that. But it's like, two things can be true at the same time. So your experience might be true to you, but it doesn't mean that your experience is a blanketed experience of everybody else. Because there are trans women who have lost their lives. Again, someone that I personally knew was murdered, and she was just trying to open up her home to help a man and his goddamn wife. And the man killed both her and the wife. So these things are happening. And a lot of people who are black and LGBT are afraid because whenever they speak up about it, it seems like they're silenced. And the fact that it's getting worse and worse. And just because you don't see it, don't mean it ain't happening. It's about, are you looking in the right places? Shout out to Candace Owens, looking in other places. Okay.
For example, they have this whole masculine feminine debate. They have this whole role of gender roles and all of that bullshit. So
Yep, because that is a heteronormative thing. Of course, because they're following a stereotype. LGBT people are still trying to figure out who the hell they are. Again, at least for me, let me speak on my experience because you share some of yours. Me growing up, I grew up in the 90s. I was born in 91. I grew up in a two-parent household. Both of my parents showed PDA all the time, holding hands, hugging, kissing. They would slow dance together. I grew up watching heterosexual television shows, cartoon shows. Went to church, was heavy in the church. All that type of stuff. And when I discovered how the world viewed people like me as far as gay or same gender loving is concerned, imagine a child dealing with that. And then a child not feeling safe enough to be able to tell anybody else about that. Imagine what that does to that person psychologically. And fucking not even a child. Imagine a person who has grown up into an adult who has not learned how to heal that part of himself. So now he's living a fearful narrative, which is why you have a lot of down low and all that type of stuff. But these people are following norms that make them feel comfortable as opposed to just being themselves and being free. There are people right now who might say things about me and make assumptions about me. That's perfectly fine. They don't goddamn know, and they will never know because some of the motherfuckers is like, bitch, you was talking as if though your ass had a chance, girl. I mean, I'm agreeing with you and you getting mad. But again, it's about the experiences. So, again, shout out to you.
so here's the thing. I've started getting more into these issues with the LGBTs, and I started realizing like these aren't things that I actually agree with, and I don't feel comfortable having to force myself to agree with it just for the sake of having a place to feel accepted. And then I realized I want to thank someone prominent as well, Candace Owens. I want to thank Candace Owens so much for giving me the strength to break out of oppression and giving me the strength to realize that I've never fit in with the black people. I love black people, but like I said, the most racism I've encountered is through my own people.
Would it be racism or would it just be the hurt that you felt? And they found another way to hurt you through your sexuality? I mean, through the fact that you're biracial? Like, there's a reason why that happened. Like, I don't think people just be racist and just express that for no reason. There's always a reason why they project that onto other people. So again, it's an energy thing. It's an energy thing. That's why with me being black and gay, I'm able to see the similarity in it because first of all, I'm aware of myself and I love myself enough to be able to live in my own truth. And because I know who I am and what's going on, I can feel the energy outside of me that is different. And racism and homophobia is the exact same thing as far as the energy. It's discrimination. Point blank, period. People are being discriminated against based off of certain things that other people don't understand and do not want to even try to understand. And especially with people who are right wings, who are considered, not all, but who are considered evangelical, that believe in God and love and stuff, but yet don't know how to really effectively express that and apply that to other people that they don't agree with. You get what I'm saying?
The most homophobia I've encountered is through my own people. There
Same here,
are
same here.
gay people who are disengaging from the black culture because even though we support Black Lives Matter, we still have black people in the community who do not support us.
That's
It's
true.
funny how
That's true.
and I want to make this a point because I'm coming out as conservative and Republican. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm
Hmm.
voting red. Being so pro-black has led me to not really know myself.
Do you feel like because you were being pro-black and the experience of blackness that you thought you was going to have didn't happen? Is that what it is? Did you feel rejected from the black community? And again, I'm not trying to be shady. I'm just literally asking to understand because I don't know your full story. Do you get what I'm saying? I've seen things over the years, but not in depth to do that. But sorry, like was that the thing? And if that's the case, can we talk about that? Because I want to know, at least for me, what inspired you to make this change to where it was like, okay, now I feel like I'm validated. Like, what videos did you watch? What things did you say that benefited you? Not videos or information that just tries to destroy and denigrate other people's experiences that have already rejected you. So it's like, damn, I can't even understand what you being discriminated against for because you won't even let me in. So, and that's why you said Candace. I feel like Candace and even Christian, all that type of stuff, and again, this is just my analogy. I don't know. It's just and the weed talking too. So I have to honor what spirit is saying to me. At least what's going on within myself. To me, there seems to be this group, because there's always groups, ain't it? There's always something new, right? Groups of people now who have been rejected from a certain experience that is a part of them because of their skin color, and they can't even experience that because the people won't let them in. Is that what that is? Again, I don't know. Maybe with you being a person who is of lighter complexion, I would like to hear your story and your background as far as how you grew up in the black community and how that experience was for you, so that I can understand. Because it seems like there are these group of people who have been rejected from black and from these other communities, and they're coming together in this midst of, oh, you've been rejected, I have too, I have to. And that's how the LGBT community is too. It's a bunch of people who have been rejected coming together. But then when we don't know how to love ourselves and to accept ourselves, we're continuously rejecting other people so that we can feel affirmed. And that's dangerous. And then it becomes a downward spiral. That's why there's new groups. And I feel like with this new group, I don't know if it's a new group of biracial people. No shade. No shade. No shade. No shade. No shade. Who have had negative experiences with blackness. I don't know if that is the case. And if that is the case, I would just want to know more about how you got to this point. Because again, when I saw the video, I was like, is he trolling? Like, where did this come from? Like, I ain't see no lead up or, hey guys, I was sitting here thinking one day, and maybe I've missed it. Maybe you've been doing content on Facebook, and again, I don't follow you on Facebook, so I'm probably ignorant, and I can admit if I am. I'm not beyond reproach. I don't know everything. You may have been showing signs, or I guess more awareness, shall I say, on your changing political view on Facebook. But as far as YouTube, it just took me by surprise. That's all I'm saying.
Being so pro gay agenda has led me to not really know myself, especially as I learned that the gay people, the LGBTs, have their own issues in the
Mm-hmm.
gay culture. In the
Mm-hmm.
cross collaboration of Black Lives Matter and LGBT, they'll tell you how especially in 2020, how black people are not a monolith. They'll tell you that we are a collective of many different expressions, many different looks, ideas, dreams, aspiration, goals. But as soon as I come out as conservative, all of those ideas that we are so diverse goes away. It feels like
And I can understand that, and that's valid, and that's valid. That's definitely valid. You know, because again, that's why I feel like conversations are important. And even though they may have been your experience in your early years or previous experiences, does not mean that that experience is still going to happen going forward. That's why there are a lot of people who have such strong beliefs in one thing, and then they meet somebody or a group of people who just completely change their lives and challenge their narratives to where it's like, wow, it makes you think and be more open-minded. Maybe this is where you feel like you are, and if that's the case, that's cool. We just gonna be even more open-minded. Okay, if the ultimate goal is that everybody is equal and everybody is deserving, but we have to also address the objective facts outside of us that is collective for everybody, and everybody can't be lying. Everybody can't be lying. Again, is there's things in the black community and the LGBT plus community that is destructive and needs to be looked at and discussed and acknowledged. Of course, you're absolutely right. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect, but you can still live your best life without having to be perfect. It's about learning how to unlearn all of the negative, low vibrational plate ideologies and viewpoints and perspectives about self. Then you'll be able to see the hope in everybody else. Because just like you talked about the Black Lives Matter and the LGBT community bleeding into each other, let's take the analogy of the Underground Railroad. There were white people. Yes, some of them were plants. Some of them were individuals who infiltrated and tried to destroy it. But there were people who were white who energetically and through empathy was able to understand the plight that black people were dealing with, the horrible, demonic, low vibrational, just brutal experiences that they were dealing with, to the point to where these white people were literally putting their lives on the line. If they were caught assisting slaves back then, they would be murdered right along with the slaves and then be called nigger lover. That is factual evidence. So there are people out there who understand what's going on, and again, through empathy, are able to relate. That's what we need to focus on. So I'm glad that there is a bleeding, because black people and LGBT people are two groups of people that are being discriminated against. And as far as black people, because we've been ignored for so long and everybody else has gotten everything, when factually speaking, okay, factually speaking, black people have built America. It was the backs, the blood, sweat, and tears of slaves that built this country into the wealth that it has now. And even what was promised was not even given to us. I mean, come on. But yet everybody else gets their stuff. So I can understand where the anger comes from, because it's like black people saying, okay, well, just like you've mentioned, Ron, you're half you're Filipino, like Asian Filipino. When Asian hate, they was boom, stop that right quick. Go, stop hating, all that type of stuff. The Holocaust, they were compensated. Native Americans, they were compensated. Everybody else was compensating, and then some black people are mad because they feel like LGBT have compensated. And to be honest, it's really white LGBT, because there's even racism in the LGBT community. Like, how many times have we seen, oh, no blacks on profiles, and black men being fetishized for their body? I mean, didn't we just have a whole document? I mean, fucking not docu series. Lord, this weed so good. Jesus, thank you, Lord. All the way. This is BubzDaGawd's way. I be all over the place, and it is what it is. I'm living my best life. But we just had a Dahmer biopic on goddamn Netflix that simply expressed what I just said as far as the fetishization of black men and how he was able to get away with it for so long because the area that he was in, nobody really cared about black people, girl. And then when you come out there, they don't give a goddamn, girl. It take them so damn long to get there. I mean, shout out to Candace Owens with that documentary, girl. The police over there, that was so wonderful, and it was an amazing, wonderful town where, it was so great and amazing. It took the police 45 minutes to get there, girl. But if it was in what is considered a I'm trying to keep it professional. But I still want to be Bubs though, so I'm still gonna be Bubs. I'm trying to find a way to be Bubs and professional at the same time because I'm gonna be me regardless. Okay, I'll tone it down a little bit, but I ain't cutting it off. But it's like, but if it was in other areas, predominantly white areas, the police would be right there like that, and that's facts. So you're living in those. See again, those areas. Black people are trying to get other people to understand something, and we get upset when people not listening and telling us that we lying when all the facts is there. You talking about burden of proof? This is enough burden of proof to put somebody in jail for 40 million lifetimes, but don't nobody want to be accountable for it. That's the problem. Supremacy means exclusion. I don't have to be accountable. I'm supreme. That's what it is. And that energy is falling down to where you have supremacy energy in the black community. You have supremacy energy in the LGBT plus community. You have supremacy, I guess, I'm pretty sure in all types of communities all around the world. It's an energy thing. And that's the problem.
I'm taking my own social career, my whole social life away because I'm not fitting into that Black Lives Matter space anymore. I'm not fitting into the gay agenda anymore. And I thank people like Candace Owens because she's given me the courage to speak up and use my voice and my influence and my platform. I would like to hope that it's not that people dislike me personally.
Right.
I believe what people dislike, and by people I mean the radical liberals and the Democrats as a whole, I believe what people dislike is that when people like me use their identity, black and gay, to speak the truth,
Mm.
that is, Democrats are keeping people oppressed, and Republicans is truly the route to success and correct.
Can you factually prove that for me? Please educate me. Look, I don't know everything. I'm not being shady. I swear, I don't know everything. Can you educate me on that though? Is there information that you can send to me that I can look up to see factually how the Republican Party has in fact and indeed helped black people? Because I'm pretty sure if black people finally was getting what they were asking for, because a lot of these people vote, whether it's Democrat or Republican, they're voting for people that's going to support them. The people who are, excuse me, the people who are supposed to be in power are supposed to be those who are part of the people of America. And I ain't talking about by titles and, oh, I'm this for all these years. I'm talking about part of the community because, again, America is a melting pot of people. So we have to have diversity. Where in the Republican Party is there true, genuine diversity? And I'm not just talking about in supporters, I'm talking about in reference to the people that are in the seats that are qualified to do what it is to help all these other people. Because if black people were really felt like that, understand, I'm pretty sure black people would be all Republican if that was the case. If the Republican Party was out here doing what they said they was going to do, their forefathers and stuff, girl, for black people, girl, black people would be over there. What are you talking about? We would be goddamn line dancing and all type of shooking and jiving and goddamn uh Tennessee whiskey singing and drunk and all that stuff over there too if we was. So I'm just saying, if that's the case, can you help me understand? So send me information if you know information in reference to how the Republican Party has been more progressive financially through resources and all that stuff for black people more than Democrats. I'm not disagreeing with you when you say the Democrats are oppressing. Like I said, it's two wings of the same bird. The whole goddamn bird don't care about you. It's a fucking vulture. No, it's a fucking hawk. That's what it is. It's a hawk in the sky. Just cause you riding on the left side of the hawk or the right side of the hawk when you a goddamn mouse, I don't see no mice riding the goddamn wings of a dove and the wings of a hawk. alive? If so, it's with the damn hawk holding the dead ass mice all obliterated and fucked up and stuff, you know, out of the sky. So it's about the people. Until until these powerful positions or positions of power are filled with people who are part of the community, the diverse community, America will never be what it wants to be because it's only catering to a certain group of people. And this is again factual. Okay? We not blind and we not deaf. Literally speaking what the experience is about and it's not being validated. And that can be a problem, especially objectively. Like you can believe what you want to believe, but when you start when your beliefs start affecting me personally, I'm talking about personally, then it's a problem. Not this projection of what, oh my God, what it could be. I'm talking about what it is. Okay? Because a lot of people have this fictional ass type of fear in their damn mind, and it hasn't even damn happened yet, but yet ignoring the people who are actually living the experience and they're telling you about it. I'm just saying.
Rating your American dream, they get mad at that. I don't understand how people who don't know one thing about politics feel so obligated to come after me and tell me about myself, because I will say this. Um I was having these conversations. Well, let me go back. So let me finish my story on how I actually, the day it clicked to me that I think I'm conservative, besides being an entrepreneur and being pro life. In these LGBT conversations that I was having with various members of the community, I was asked by these radical leftists, men who wear wigs and nails and call themselves a woman. I was asked, would I date a woman, a trans woman? And I told him, I said I wouldn't, because ultimately, for me to date a woman, I want kids, which is true. I do want children in my life. And I feel more secure bringing children into this world as a conservative versus when I was a Democrat, because I understand now how hurtful it is to brainwash children into believing in racism, into
Mm-hmm.
believing that there's more than one.
But there are white, but that's what I'm saying. Again, I appreciate your experience. I do, because these are the conversations that we need to have. Again, at least my commentary, and I hope once, and that's why I keep reiterating that I'm not trying to insult you as a person or whatever the case may be. I'm not trying to do any of that. What I'm literally trying to do is just deal with the information that you're giving. That's all I'm doing. Point blank, period. That's it. That's it. Good. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back.
Children into this world as a conservative versus when I was a Democrat, because I understand now how hurtful it is to brainwash children into believing in racism. And
Oh yes, thank you. See, I told you I'll lose my point, but I will come back, girl. Okay, my mind be working faster than my mouth sometimes. Um, but there are white people that are teaching them about the privilege of being white. That, oh, don't worry about it. Your father will handle. Don't worry about it. I know someone who can handle it. This is that true. Like there's a book called Learning to Be White. Let me actually look it up so I can actually be factual about this. Learning to, and again, um, this is all just information. This is just all information. Okay, do with it what you want. Okay, it's called Learning to Be White by Thandika. Okay, and let me see if I can read the. Let me see. They have the synopsis of the book. Girl, where is this synopsis? I want to see it real quick. Hold on. Girl, where is it at? Okay. It says Thandika explores the politics of the white experience in America, tracing the links between religion, class, and race. She reveals the child abuse, ethnic conflicts, class exploitation, poor self esteem, and a general feeling of self contempt that are the wages of whiteness. And I was able to read a few chapters of this book because it was a book that I was borrowing from a friend of mine. I had to give it back to her. I'm like, bitch, you ain't even read the damn book. I can have it. um, There are stories and accounts of white people who remember at a very young age being taught what it was to be white. Like there was a story of an individual who, his father took him to the black side of town and told him, "We don't talk to people like that. You're better than them." Like, and if white people were to overstep their whiteness or to acknowledge the privilege that comes with whiteness, then they got chastised for it and even quote unquote kicked out of the white community for it. That's factual, actual factual stuff. People, again, using the example with the Underground Railroad, if them white people caught them other white people helping those black people, it wasn't like, oh, you're white. He slapped on the wrist. You should have known. No, it was, we gonna hang your ass first, and we gonna turn you black after we done hung your ass and set you on fire. Like that was the mentality, and that mentality is still going on in reference to elitism and classism. And again, this is all factual stuff. There's another individual. I love his videos by the name of the Renegade Cut. The Renegade Cut. I would ask and suggest that y'all please go over there and support his channel. He's a white man that breaks things down, and he uses his privilege that he has acknowledged in order to educate other white people, because there are going to be some things that black people are going to say that white people never understand. It would have to be an in-house conversation with white people. Do you get what I'm saying? There are people right now who are white that are challenging their racist grandma and their racist uncle, drunk ass uncle, and their racist mother and father at Thanksgiving, at Christmas dinner, because there is literally something there, and they get in trouble for that. So this stuff is out there. It's out there. So and my thing is, when black people are having these conversations about racism with their kids, it's a scary one. Like after the whole Trayvon Martin situation, and they were just showing black people literally being murdered. I don't give a fuck if they were criminals. They should have at least been able to. I mean, aren't people innocent until proven guilty in the court of law? I mean, isn't this what the law is about? So these individuals are not even living to even go to prison to be tried by their peers, and the evidence that's presented in the case, so that it's a reasonable thing. There are people that are black people that were dying and being shown murdered all over national television over and over and over again for days, being reduced to hashtags, being reduced to only just a peaceful protest, and then that's it, and everything goes back to normal until another nigga is killed. And yes, is this murder in the black community? You goddamn right it is. I'm not saying we perfect, girl, but for the context of the conversation, we talking about whiteness, okay? Which is a lot of, I ain't gonna say a lot, I ain't gonna say a lot, but as far as the powers that be, support right wing as far as traditionalism and capitalism and conservatism, that type of thing. They don't want things to change. They don't want it to change. So a lot of these black people, unfortunately, was having conversations with their child, telling them to survive the encounter, fearful of their child going out somewhere and never coming home. Have you ever seen the movie American Son? I think it's called American Son. I don't even know if it's more like a damn play. I'm like, good. Did Tyler Perry do this? Because the wig is still dry. I think it's called American Son. Let me see. American Son. Hold on, y'all. American Son. Is that what it's called? What's the name of the movie? Yes, it's called American Son with Kerry Washington. Girl, Kerry Washington was a mother who had to go to a police station and be there all night, not knowing where the hell her son was. She asking people, what can I do about my son? She being told to wait, girl, all this stuff, and she's afraid. And also, he was an individual that was trying to experience his blackness too, because he came from a multiracial family. And him indulging, I guess, in the black side of him all the way through had caused his death, and his mom did not know it for the entire thing. Imagine her pain. She can't even express her anger and her frustration in a way without being chastised or challenged by an authority figure, so she has to swallow all that in just for her son to be murdered. Like, these are the experiences of people. Emmett Till, these are the experiences. So the fact that black people, unfortunately, are having to be aware enough to have these conversations with their kids now in present day America is scary. So yeah, We're not gonna sit up here and act like racism is goddamn over. And if we're gonna act like racism is over, I guess us as black people, and I'm just speaking for me and whoever feel like me, black people will forget about slavery once Jewish people forget about the Holocaust and America forgets about 9/11. I feel like that would be fair. If we gonna forget about all the bad shit, let's forget about all the bad shit if we're gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? But that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, unfortunately. So, and all we can do is just bring awareness, and it's sad. And then you have black people who do try to comply with the officer and still end up dead, and still end up murdered, and still end up fucked up. People be Have you not seen videos of people that have been in the back of police cars who have been abused and used and stuff? Not because of these cameras, they trying to find slicker ways to deal with that. But imagine back in the day when there weren't any damn cameras, to where they had the free reign on your ass and dared you to say something, and then drop your ass off in a territory that would get you killed. That ain't that's not fictional. That's not fantasy. I mean, that's yes, that's not fictional. That's not fantasy. That's not a dream. That has been other people's realities, unfortunately. And again, just because you haven't experienced it does not mean that experience is not happening to other people. It might be happening to people more so than you think.
To believing that there's more than one pronoun other than he and she. Um, but let me finish. So they asked me would I date a trans woman, and I said I wouldn't, because if I'm gonna be with a woman, then I'm gonna want to conceive a child with her. And she said everyone in this conversation like just shook the room, just shook the table, and was like, "Oh no, oh you're so uneducated," because as a matter of fact, men can have children too. So first of all,
What again? Can you send me this information, this video, if you have it? I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that. I'm also curious to know too. Like you said, if you want to be with a woman, um, you want to conceive a child with her. So I know you said later on in the video. I watched the video before this response. I know you said that you didn't really want to be labeled as anything. So, I mean, do you find yourself physically and sexually attracted to both men and women? Are you I don't know. Again, this is a new Ron Vugada, or another side of him that we've never known, that has shifted a lot of your thought, your political views and the way that you look at life now. So I'm just asking to understand, like, are you now bisexual? Like, are you just into whatever feels good for you? I mean, I don't know. So, and I mean, yes, men cannot have children. That is absolutely true. That is right. But saying that gay men can't have children, as far as other alternate ways, as far as just because it's not the conventional method. Okay, then when not everybody gonna be able to have the conventional experience, they're gonna have to be other people that are gonna have to be able to get that through other means that are alternative. And I know you're gonna bring up the argument about how, oh well, trans people, when they talk about, oh, what about women who are barren or men who are sterile? I mean, that's still the experience. They still can't bring people into this world. We're talking about how do they have the right to be able to use alternate ways to bring the child into the world. But when LGBT do it, oh my God, it's demonic, it's scientific. They on some alien versus the predator type shit. It's like we're calling out the hypocrisy. That's all. That's all. Just a hypocrisy. That's it. That's all.
that still shakes my mind that there are people, and I believe that it's a mental illness that a lot of the LGBT people are going through, primarily the trans group. I believe they're suffering from an immense amount of mental illness.
Mm.
I've heard that is labeled gender dysphoria, but again, I don't want to get too deep into any of my beliefs. This is just a general video of me coming out as conservative.
Well, I hope in your series, at least not in this video, of course, but excuse me, y'all. I'm drinking water and shit, sparkling water. And I hope that going forward, with your woke and broke series, that you will actually delve deeper into your personal thoughts, because a lot of people, I feel like, choose their political sides based off of their personal thoughts, which is why they want to get to know more about their politicians, what they're about. They start asking questions and seeing if those things align with what makes their life better. So hopefully you'll be able to, at least to me, express more information about that so that I can just, once again, so that I can understand. What's up, Naries? So that I can understand. Let's get in.
The moment that they told me that men can have children, and me as a biological man looking down at my penis, I have on pants, I'm not actually naked, looking down at my
Disclaimer.
private parts, I understand that I cannot have a child. I know that no matter how many spells, how many window shops that I break down with my bat, how many liberation songs I sing, how much affirming I do in my mind that I'm a woman, I will never have a child. The
It's the fact that these people are doing these things is because, again, you brought up the fact of cultural and all that type of stuff. And I've said this before, and I'm gonna have to say it again multiple times, which is cool. It's okay. Repetition is good. Repetition is good sometimes. Male and female is the biology. Man and woman is the social, cultural context or construct. Men wear blue. Men wear pants. Men play sports. Men, that's what men do. According to the culture and according to society, women wear pink. They wear dresses. They wear makeup. They play with dolls. They get cooking sets and all this stuff, preparing them to be a wife. And there are people in the world who believe in those traditions, and they have every right to do so. But to prevent other people who don't fit into those narratives and deny them the opportunity to experience and express and live the way that they choose to without people feeling some type of way about it and then being destructive about it, that's the issue. That's the issue. It's the fact that people's opinion, the social construct and the social opinion about LGBT people and about trans women and all these other people who are disparaged and underprivileged, it's a negative one. There's nothing positive. Nothing. And then nobody offers critiques and ways to help. It's just complaining. So it's like, if you're going to come through, not you, but I'm just saying people who have opinions and views about the black community and the LGBT plus community, I just hope that y'all would be able to expound more on that. That's what I want to know. Like, that's just me. That's just me. Expound more.
moment that they told me that was the moment that I checked out and I said, you know what? I had enough. This is the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life.
Mm.
I'm not finna subscribe to this. I'm not finna support this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because synonymously at that same time of me having these conversations and studying these LGBT politics,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube was pushing Candace Owens content to my platform, well, not my platform, to my social media timeline, well, my YouTube timeline through videos and shorts. And I was watching them and I'm like, you know what? This is making sense.
Mm-hmm.
The first video I ever saw by Candace Owens was for her support as pro-life, and that was big for me because as I was coming out as pro-life, I got no support. As I state my views on pro-life, I would get no support. But if I drop a picture of myself with a veiny caption that is very worldly, I
Mm-hmm.
get 100 likes,
That's true.
comments,
That's true.
reactions. I get so much support when I use my influence to push the wrong ideas, but I get no support when I push the things that I truly believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I truly believe in about myself is I'm not going to be used as some sexual tool to make younger people believe, younger men and women believe that the only way they can get attention is if they post shirtless pics, is if they bend over on a at a
Right.
gas station
Right.
and post a caption that says everybody want me because I'm slutty. I don't know, I'm easy. I don't want to perpetuate that because there
Right.
comes a time in life where your looks will fade,
That's
and there
true.
comes a time in life where you will be judged based on your intelligence. And I think in life in its entirety, you're being judged by your intelligence, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is valid because, again, if Democrats want to say that I am a coon, if Democrats want to say that I am not informed, then I have the right to say, using my freedom of speech, to say that transgender people and a lot of the gay people, the LGBT people,
Mm-hmm.
are mentally ill
Mm-hmm.
for believing and perpetuating to our younger kids that men can have children all of a sudden, that women can be defined as a feeling versus the biological makeup of our bodies. And I understand that there are biological women who cannot have kids,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's an insult for LGBT people to use biological women who cannot have kids as their leverage as to why they are equal as.
It's the fact that both of them can't have kids. It's literally that simple. They both can't have kids, but they can, as far as the quote unquote conventional method, and the fact that people's sexuality is being dumb, is being reduced to, oh, can you bring children into the world? First of all, I don't think y'all need help bringing children into the world. People be in the world every day, especially in the black community. Okay, they having all the children for the gay people who are not having kids. Y'all, we gonna be all right. We gonna be okay. Okay. And then on top of that, shouldn't the best thing for a child be is that they're in a home that loves them? But see, once again, we have this viewpoint on what that real, genuine, authentic, supreme type of love is. No, love is love. Ain't that what it is? So now we about to sit up here and goddamn put levels on goddamn love and shit. Like, that's why I say, for me, self love is a great foundation to build upon. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with evolving and growing in love. But when it's used in a way to be like, oh, wait, y'all not worthy of love because y'all down there, and, because we're a heterosexual couple, we're the supreme thing. Okay, then why is a lot of divorces happening with heterosexual people? Why are there a lot of broken families dealing with heterosexual people? Like, again, let's look at the facts too. I feel like we have to do a 360 fact. And for people who are underprivileged, we didn't heard y'all viewpoints so many times, and it has not changed. It has been the same. Maybe the verbiage has changed, maybe the words has changed, but the energy has been the same. Now it's black people and underprivileged people now who have the opportunity to speak. They have the opportunity to actually hold the microphone in their hand and to share their experience. And a lot of people are afraid because black people and LGBT people are taking the narrative back and actually speaking about the narrative through their lens and trying to get people to understand the similarity of that. So yes, just because two men, two women, a trans woman cannot bring a child into the world as far as the conventional method, again, it's not the only method. There is surrogacy. There are other methods to bring the child into the world, as long as that child is loved. And then on top of that, the lives are valuable. We want kids in the world, but when the kids is black and the kids is gay and the kids is trans, all of a sudden that life is not valuable whatsoever. It's swept under the rug. That's the problem, and that's the issue.
Real women, if anybody gets that. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard.
Mm,
Racism. I live in Alabama, and to be honest with you, I feel like now I live my life through a whole different lens because
mm,
I used to look at white people. Again, I'm in Alabama where my
right.
governor is Kay Ivey.
Mm,
I used to hate Kay Ivey. I used
mm,
to hate white people. I thought everything white people did was racist. If a white
mm,
person didn't hold the door for me, it was racist. But if a black person didn't hold the door for me or didn't say thank you if I held the door for them, I would write it off as, oh, they're just having a bad day. Because again, we're oppressed. We're oppressed.
it's a fear narrative. That's why hate is. People fear what they don't understand, and then they hate what they fear. And again, for black people, not saying it's right, not saying that it's right, but when black people factually and statistically have dealt with centuries of trauma, girl, you're going to be afraid of those who oppress you. You're going to. Okay, let me ask you this, Ron. If you're driving down the street right now in the South and the police pull behind you, you don't know they trying to get you or not, would you feel okay? Like, okay, police behind me, I'm gonna be all right, I'm good. Or would you be like, oh shit, oh fuck? And if they was to hit the lights, how would your heart beat? go? Would it still be calm? Would it still be okay? Well, they ain't getting me. I know I'm doing everything right. I'm all good. Or would it kind of speed up a little bit? Like, girl, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm just curious to know. What would your experience be like? I'm just curious to know. What do you believe your experience would be like? Just a question.
I used to hate police. I used to feel like if I called the police, then I will probably get shot and probably get
Mm-hmm.
not the justice that I feel like I'm due.
Mm-hmm.
And for some basic facts on systemic racism for any black person, because let me tell you this,
Mm-hmm.
after making the decision to leave the Democratic Party and all of those gay agenda ideas and
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter oppression ideas,
Mm-hmm.
I've started using my platform to, through text, make statuses on my Facebook, my Twitter, on how I support actually conservative ideas. And I've been getting so much backlash. Like, I've gotten, as a black man, you
Mm-hmm.
should know better. As
Mm-hmm.
a gay man, you should know.
Again, your experience. That's why I'm trying to do my approach different, because I have to also accept the fact that your experience of blackness is different. Again, there are different experiences of blackness, and again, there are a lot of people in the black community who are hurt, who are very, very hurt, and I can understand why people would say, "Oh, pick Mishas" and all that stuff, and I've been guilty of saying that, because we got to throw a little shade. It is what it is. It what it is. You know what I'm saying? Got to throw a little something in there, but like it's girl. Let's go back again, girl. I done lost my thought again, girl. It's okay. This is BubzDaGawd. I'm still gonna be blessed, bitch.
Actually conservative ideas, and I've been getting so much backlash. Like, I've got
Oh yeah, the backlash. Thank you. See, I always get it back, bitch. It just take me a minute sometimes. I'm still learning. I'm still learning. But the backlash, like, that's why I'm doing it differently, because again, your experience, your viewpoint and experience of blackness is valid. It is definitely valid, and a lot of people who are hurt can probably be like, "Oh, you switching teams, you trying to be chose, and all this other type of stuff." Which is why I'm responding to your commentary as if though it was a conversation, not a debate, but a conversation to try to understand each other. Which is why I'm asking questions too. Um, but I'm just trying to understand, girl. Like, I mean, that's why I'll just say this. I have hopefully during your woke and broke series, you will go more in depth about your experience. Because now all I'm gonna do is just start asking questions, and I don't want to assume. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to ask questions and do it the right way. But I would like to know more about your experience of blackness, because once again, you have a right. You're looking at blackness through a different lens that you haven't experienced, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But don't sit up here and discount the experiences of other black people who have experienced that and that are experiencing that. Just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it's not an experience for other people. So I'm just saying we have to also keep that in mind. You want people to validate your experience, right? You want people to see to see you for who you are, and who you are now was shaped by your experiences, correct? So you want people to validate your experiences, or at least respect it. So it's like that same grace and that same awareness should be given and awarded to the other person as well, which is why I'm not attacking your freedom of speech, because you have a right to say what you want to say. If I was to sit up here and try to take away your freedom of speech, then I'm stopping mine. But I'm gonna respond though. I mean, that's what I'm gonna do.
and as a black man, you should know better. As a gay man, you should know better that they don't like you because these Christian values that you're talking about, they don't even like you because gay is a sin. Gay people have told me that. My belief is
Hmm.
Christians don't dislike me as a person, they dislike the sin.
So you believe you're sinning. You don't like the sin, but the sin is a part. But the sin is attached to you though, and that's why. What's up, Christina? That's why I had said earlier. Like when you go to, for example, let's say down the line you meet somebody, because you are an attractive individual. We ain't gonna lie. You are. You kind of always being just being honest. But like, if you were to um, attract someone into your life, a dude into your life, and it hits off real good, and you got the same political viewpoints, and just everything is just good and stuff, and you guys are like, okay, oh my God, they're bringing the Republican convention to our town, or like a town near us or whatever. Let's go. Like, do you feel like you would be able to stand in your love like all the other couples? Like all the other heterosexual couples, like they're gonna have a chance to be able to react with each other when their candidate said something that really hits their spirit, and they start celebrating, or if their candidate wins a position of power or whatever. Oh my God, I want to kiss you, and all that stuff. Are you gonna be able to do that with your partner, or do you feel like around these people who you feel accepts you for who you are, do you feel like they would want you to tone down parts of you? Like, I'm just curious to know, like, in that scenario, what would you do? Would you be affectionate with your partner? Would you be distant from your partner? Would you treat your partner as if though that they was your brother or something, and that there's no relation, anything sexual between y'all? Like, what would that experience be like? I'm just curious to know. I mean, Christian Walker kind of was asked the same question, and he really didn't answer it. So I'm hoping that with this series, especially the Woke and Broke series, which I'm definitely looking forward to, um, as far as your opinion and perspective, I'm just curious to know what you would do in that experience.
White people do not like me as a black person. They just don't like bad people in general, criminals in general. Here are some
But then black people are labeled as criminals. Do you not see the television shows, the movies? Black people are always portrayed as the thug, as the gang member, as the even in the news, even with the rap music and all that stuff. I told you, look, they're killing each other, all this stuff. Oh my God, like who do you think they? So when they think of criminals, okay, when you think of criminals, who do you think about? Who do you think about as criminals? And you might see other people. Who knows? Who knows? But we're talking about a collective thing. What do they see? And maybe if because I really want you to really do your big one with this one, because it's like you going this route, and you say you going in, so my thing is go in. I would want you to, like, hopefully, which would be dope, to interview people at these Republican conventions and ask them questions about blackness and gayness, and just wonder what they would see, because once again, those are also parts of things that you're connected to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm just curious to know what their answers would be. And again, what would be the reason where you feel so accepted and loved and validated and be given these tools of success as a black gay man in the Republican Party? I'm just curious. Again, not being shady. I just want to know.
facts that I've studied and I'm able to tell you off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And this is based on a 2020 study.
Okay.
If white supremacy exists,
Mm-hmm.
then why does black on black crime,
Mm-hmm.
well, let's say this, black people as of 2022 or
Mm-hmm.
2021, but I'm in 2022, so I'm going to include it as 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Black people make up in America as the population between 12 and 13% of the population.
Right.
We're actually lower than Hispanics. They
Mm-hmm.
make up about 15 to 18%, give or take, in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that we know that black people make up 13% of the
Right.
population in America,
Right.
let's talk about systemic racism and all of this police brutality and all of this. White
Right.
on black crime, including the police force, is 4%. Black on black crime is 97%. Black on white crime is 81%. You tell me, where is this systemic racism that people are talking about? And if you ask me, if you
Again, for me, just for research purposes, I would like to see the statistics on that. But let's break it down. Let's break it down. Okay. And shout out to the Renegade Cut, because I think he did something about this, and I'm gonna see if I can kind of remember what he said, because it was just so spot on. Because it is a smaller group of people, that means the likelihood of that happening increases, right? So of course, when you deal with the people who, like for example, the predominant race would be white, I will assume in this conversation, right? Um, if certain things happen because they're bigger, the likelihood of that happening lessens. But when you have that stuff happen in smaller groups, the likelihood of that happening increases. And also too, black people, a lot of us, we don't really value black lives either, because other people outside of us don't value black lives. Now, I will agree with you on the whole us killing each other type of thing, but again, there are systems in place that put us in positions to where people would do stuff like that. A lot of time those people are killing each other because of money things and all that stuff. If they had resources available to them that was able to help them do other things, as opposed to having to kill, steal, and destroy their own damn community, unfortunately, then we wouldn't have these issues and these problems. So there are things systematically in place that prevents all that. Why do you think it's called a trap? Let's talk about trap, because trap is a identity in blackness now that seems to be pretty prevalent. And to be honest, trap music and black and rap music is a genre of music that has transcend multiple racial barriers. Okay, so for example, let's take some of these Chicago trill and drill rappers. Um, I mean, Lil Bootsy and all this stuff. Like, I literally did a video. I literally did a video with Lil Bootsy in reference to his commentary with Dahmer and talking about, he didn't kill black boys, but Jeffrey Dahmer could never ever come for damn Bootsy, a loose Bootsy bottom bitch, because he had more bodies on his name than Jeffrey ever could, girl. Okay, I'm just saying. But there are things in place that happen when you listen to these rappers and all this stuff. They really be crying out for help, but don't nobody care, girl. We don't want to hear that sad shit. We want to hear you shooting niggas and killing niggas. I mean, Ellie Chopper, he's an individual who's trying to become more woke and more aware of his shit, but because of the music uh industry and what he's in, he has to reside on what brings in the money. And unfortunately, what brings in the money when it comes to the black community is the trap shit. Is the trap shit. Is the trap shit. And they literally have a clause in there called the death clause. Since we're gonna be, um 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 conspiracy theorists, and just all these different things, we're gonna just throw things out, you know what I'm saying? Just to bring more context and nuance, just to help. Shout out to Ron for doing his part. I'm gonna do my part now. They have something called the death clause, where you're worth more dead than alive. So imagine these trail rappers getting signed by these other rappers. They got $20,000, $30,000 on the table, a stack of money right there. Niggas ain't seen that much money. A lot of niggas ain't seen that much money at one time. Okay, they sign the goddamn contract and all that type of stuff. They start recording all this stuff, not realizing the contract is gonna fuck them off in the back end, because that was a loan, and then there's gonna be high interest loans on that. So they're gonna be broke, and the only way for them to be able to survive is to perform. And then with black people in rap music and trap music, we can never ever rap and it be a fictional thing or it be a fantasy thing. It has to be a real life. You have to live that type of thing. So then you have these rappers who become artists, who become famous and all that type of stuff. And when you go to their concerts, it's nothing but a sea of white people up front who get to indulge in the experience of being black. Like Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be a nigga but don't want to be a nigga. So you get to be a nigga selectively, but not the true experience of a nigga. And then these rap trio niggas end up getting murdered. And guess what? None of the money goes to the family. None of the money goes to anything. To where now these motherfuckers gotta get they cousin Mook Mook to sell them $250 worth of food stamps so they can sell fish plates and chicken dinners at the church and the YMCA and all these other places and stuff to raise money for Mook Mook funeral. And unfortunately, in the black community, it seems like the only way out is to either be an athlete or to be a rapper. And a lot of motherfuckers don't have stamina nowadays, so they might as well be a goddamn rapper. It's easier. They get money. It validates them as a man, and all these other things that are destructive. If these black people had resources in these neighborhoods to help them unlearn all of the hurt and pain, because once again, I feel like a lot of these people do not actually listen to the oppressed people. They look at it and be like, oh, shut the fuck up, you're just complaining, you're complaining, as opposed to actively listening. And for those of us who do actively listen, and I ain't saying Ron is, I'm just talking about me, who actively listen, you're able to understand what's going on, to ask questions, to truly genuinely understand. And especially with you being black, if you have a different perspective that's going to help black people, I would rather you do that. Which you might be doing in your opinion. You might be doing that. But I'm saying there are systems in place that set these things up. That's why it's important to be as nuanced as possible and to be open-minded as possible. I'm not giving my commentary to be like, oh, you're wrong and I'm right. It's like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm sharing information. You're sharing information. Let's see what sticks. Because there's always three sides to the truth. It's going to be side A, side B, and then the ultimate truth. And we just going to say what we have to say, not just you, but just the political spectrum, the cultural spectrum in general, are going to continue to share information with each other. And hopefully we can all create a space where we can agree to disagree and still be respectful, even though we're going to be passionate, because we're passionate people. We're human beings. We're all emotional. But to be able to have emotional intelligence, emotion without intellect is dangerous. It's like giving a loaded full automatic AK-47, AK-74 to a damn 3-year-old toddler after they didn't had a tantrum. So hopefully we can have that.
You really want to make this a whole white lives matter type situation, doesn't it seem more right that white people should be more angry that 81% of their of the murders in the white community are caused by black people?
Where is this factually? And if that is the case, where, where I know that white people are now becoming minorities, but where is this ridiculous drop in that? If anything, they're becoming a minority because of mixed children, interracial relations. That's what it is. And how do we have time to kill the white people when the black people is allegedly killing the black people? Cause I don't see Tyrone, I don't see Mook Mook, I don't see Lil Nigga, Lil Niglet. I did not see any of them riding down on any white people and busting them up. So where is this alarming rate of black murder against white people? Where is it? Please, maybe once again, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm lost. Help me understand. Where is the information for that? Share it with me, please, because that would have factually shown. I feel like, in my opinion, and again, you can just do your research. Everybody, don't take my word for it. Okay, don't just listen to me like, oh, he right. No, bitch, just try me. Study to show thyself approved. I'm just giving you my perspective. Okay, so y'all, but it's like, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Where is this at? Where is this showing up at? Where? Help me understand.
Doesn't that give them more of the right than black people to be out?
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yes, I feel like white people, in my opinion, are afraid that black people are going to do to them what they did to black people. I'll use the example of the '67 riots here in Detroit, because I live in Detroit, Michigan. Okay, during that riot, after what happened, there were literally white housewives who stayed at home, cooked, cleaned, looked after the kids, wifely traditional duties, that was taking 30 minutes to an hour to go to a gun range and learn how to blow holes in targets using revolvers and Smith and Wessons and shotguns and stuff, because they were afraid of the backlash that they were going to deal with. And then when I forgot which team it was, which sports team, when they had won the championship, it was like, oh, we can now get past this horrible thing that has happened. It's so fucked up. It was so bad what was going on in Detroit, but since they won, now we can just go ahead and just, oh my God, we can kumbaya and all that stuff. And it's like, no, no, again, a exception. And spiritually speaking, people, not just white people, but spiritually speaking, in my opinion, people who are low vibrating and operating in fear, in misinformation, and not having emotional intelligence are going to literally manifest what it is that they fear, because the universe, especially in the age of Aquarius, is going to give you what you want, give you something you can feel, something you can use. Which is why I'm doing my part to help bring awareness as far as the self. Let's learn to love ourselves past the racism, past the homophobia. Because when you learn to love yourself, you don't have to be validated by any motherfucking person. But you also realize that what people ain't gonna do is disrespect you, especially when you trying to be respectful. Because the narrative around LGBT people and Black Lives Matter, as far as this fear narrative, where is it at? Where is it at in such an alarming rate to where it's like black people wake up? Where is it at? I'm objective. I'm willing to look at the facts. If you call them facts, show them to me. I'm with it. So hopefully, again, during his um broke and woke series, again, we will start to get some answers to some of the questions that I'm curious to know about.
Rage, but here we are as black people, as a black culture, demanding that white people bow down to us because of something that happened generations ago.
It's not bowing down. It's like leave us alone. Leave us alone. There's always an issue. There's always a problem. There's always something going on. Y'all be fucking with us. Y'all be fucking with us. Like, have you not seen the videos of individuals who were walking into apartment complexes and condos and buildings and were being questioned? Do you live here? Do you live here? Excuse me, sir. Do you live here? Do you live here? Nothing warranted that or whatever, except for the color of their skin. There was literally a story. I have to see if I can find it, that I shared a long time ago on my page, Instagram page, where there was an individual, a black guy, that was in his own apartment, and a drunk white man came in and started attacking him. The black man started whooping on that ass, because I mean, if you come into my house and try to hurt me, I mean, what the hell is going on? When the police were called, guess what the police told the black man? If you would have locked your door, he would have not came into your apartment, and we wouldn't be here right now. Not the fact that this drunk random stranger, who I don't know who the fuck it is, walked into my house and proceeded to assault me. And then I call y'all to do y'all job because I was in my house comfortably, living my best life, doing the work that I was doing, minding my own business. And this individual came in and did what they did. And you're telling me that if I would have locked my damn door, this wouldn't have happened, but yet he gets to get away scot-free? That's the world we live in. And the fact that this stuff is recorded. Oh, well, what about what happened before? And all this stuff. Excuse me, in the court of law, when you're doing jury duty, you only have to focus on the evidence that is submitted. Point blank, period. The burden of proof. And everybody's burden of proof can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. So these individuals are upset when people keep fucking with them. And now that black people and LGBT people are now standing up, oh, now it's an issue. Oh, now it's a problem. Oh my God, I told y'all, I told y'all. Okay. Well, truth is going to reveal. So that's okay. That's okay, girl. Truth gonna always reveal. That's why for me, I'm not pressed by any of this racist stuff. I give my information and I'm out because I'm gonna live my best life. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from living BubzDaGawd's best life because I have acknowledged it. And I'm gonna die one day, and guess what? I don't know when that day gonna be. That's none of my concern. But what I am gonna do is goddamn live, okay? And if some people are intimidated by the level of other people's freedom to live, despite what they think and what they believe and what they feel about them, that's your issue. It has nothing to do with me. Just don't be physical. That's all I'm saying. You can say what you want to say. You can express it how you want to express it, and I will be able to honor that and validate that. But when you start doing things that affect my life personally, then it becomes an issue, especially when my life and LGBT life has factually proven to not be harmful to you. Okay? And again, just because that's your experience of blackness does not mean that's other people's experience of blackness, or the blackness that the majority of people are trying to get other people to understand. Let's continue.
I refuse to treat white people as slave masters, and I refuse to treat gay people as the end all be all of intelligence, because
What?
their ideas are simply stupid. Systemic racism is simply stupid. To believe that we should put no money into our national defense and allow immigrants, illegal immigrants, to come into our country, not pay taxes, but now we have to deal with all of this homelessness and all of this. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you why progressive thinking and democratic thinking does not work.
Mm.
It does not work because things like gay marriage and transgenders being affirmed in pronouns of being wanting to be affirmed with their pronouns
Mm.
does not affect gas prices. Increasing government handouts so people can stay oppressed and poor does not build wealth in our communities. Living life through a lens where everything is black and white, gay, straight, this war causing
Oh shit! I done fucked up. All the way to the beginning, Lord. Damn. Hold on.
off the street that Democrats claim that they love people so much.
Let's go back here.
He
I'm sorry.
estimates Ukraine will need
Oh
six.
shit! I done messed up, y'all.
Person in America affirmed
I didn't mean
in
to write that.
pronouns of being wanting to be affirmed
There we
with
go.
their pronouns
Mm-hmm.
does not affect gas prices.
Mm-hmm.
Increasing government handouts so people can stay oppressed and poor
Mm-hmm.
does not build wealth in our communities.
Mm-hmm.
Living life through a lens where everything is black and white, gay, straight,
Mm-hmm.
this war does not progress nothing in life. I also hate when people ask me, what do you identify as if me identifying as a gay person makes me any better or worse as a person, as if me
But Ryan, you just sat up here and talked about the LGBTs, not LGBT, but LGBTs. Yes, Andrew Caldwell. Women's. Where is your scooter? Where's your man? Where your man? Okay. I stay prayed up. That gives me bow wow wow. Wow wow wow. Um, but you just literally when you talked about the experience of black people through Black Lives Matter, like and LGBT, you literally just disregarded their stuff. But yet, when it comes down to your expression of gayness and your expression of blackness, you don't want that to be judged. See, and since this is right wing, I'm gonna use a Bible scripture. Didn't it say to do unto others as you want them to do unto you? That is a very vital thing. If you want people to respect you, you have to give them respect. And even if they don't respect you, still respect them and respect yourself. Because you're going to come across people who's going to respect you for who you are, who you truly are. Because again, when these people ask you, what do you identify when it comes down to your sexuality or your sexual attraction, again, to us, it seems very contradicting because you are willing to be a part of a community of people who's not even willing to acknowledge the part of you that that is important. We all deserve to be loved. Whether that's familial love, whether that's romantic love, we deserve to experience love in all of the facets that we can. But again, and maybe I could be ignorant. Again, educate me. Can you show me some proof of the Republican Party willing to love and support you for who you are, regardless of their viewpoints on sexuality? Like, can you send me some things? Like, are there some candidates out there who said, if you're gay, that's fine, as long as you're not super gay. But if you're a little gay, I'm with it. Like, is it are are there people out there who say, okay, I'll support you if you're gay as long as you keep it in the closet. I'll support you if you're gay as long as you don't do PDA in front of other human beings. You can't even enjoy yourself like that. If you're gonna do stuff, do it in the house. Is that the viewpoint and standpoint? Again, I'm just asking so that I can understand simply asking to understand.
identifying as a black person makes me any better or worse as a person. Don't ask me what I identify as. Judge me based on my character. Judge me based on my morals. Judge.
But then when it comes to LGBT people, they don't have any morals and values according to you know the conservative aspect. They feel like gay people are immoral. They feel like they're less than a person. Let me see if I can find that Bible scripture in Leviticus. I think it's Leviticus scripture about gays with blood upon their heads. What's up, King Anubis? No, it's just Ryan came out with some very interesting commentary, and like I said, I subscribe. I'm still subscribed. I'm not unsubscribing to him again. I'm loving the opposing viewpoints because I feel like this is a chance for us to understand each other, and I feel like we can do it in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the damn weed. I already told y'all, weed. Fuck having a conversation when you drunk. Have a conversation when you have a weed, baby. We gonna all be able to be truthful and honest, girl. We gonna all try to find the best possible way to talk. Okay, you better use that shit upon their heads. Hold on. Girl, this is gonna be a busy ass weekend, Jesus. Lord. I mean week and weekend. Okay, yeah. Shout out to the Bible Gateway, girl. When we go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 13, girl. Let's do the King James version because you know the King James. When you read the Bible, at least what I was taught in the Baptist church, when you read the Bible, you better always read King James. So, King James, okay, Leviticus 20:13, and it reads, "If a man also lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Okay, their blood shall be upon them." Okay, so again, I'm just trying to understand because once again, like you said in the beginning of your commentary, um, Ron, you said that you joined the political party because you were trying to find a place to fit in and find an identity within yourself that affirms who you are and makes you feel like a better person and that you're making the right choices, and finally finding a community that's actually going to love Ron for who Ron is, not for Ron taking his shirt off, showing his body, not for Ron eating Tide Pods, not just for Ron doing all these other things, but to love Ron for who he is and who he's not. So I'm saying when you're in this political party, can you send me information or show me where these people are affirming that part of you which is important, which is your sexual expression of life? Because you're not gonna so being a part of, again, I'm just asking questions. So being a part of the Republican Party, are you going to um are you going to now get married to women? Are you not going to try to conceive with women and follow the conservative, traditional, biblical, supreme way of the American dream and the American life? Again, I'm just asking because I'm curious. Like I said, I got Rico, King Anubis. Look, King Anubis will share his opinion in a minute, and I'm not mad about it, okay? And it's low key attractive. Cause you ain't gotta agree with me all the time. So can we have a little conversation? At least let it be thought provoking. So, I'm with it. I'm with it. So, like again, for this woke and broke series that you're gonna be doing, I'm definitely gonna be tuned in and giving my commentary. Let's continue.
Judge me based on my actions. Judge me based on my service back to the community. Do not judge me or put this whole prefix notion on me because I tell you that I'm gay.
But that's what the Republican Party is doing, and that's what black people in the Democratic Party are doing. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of projecting and a lot of stereotypes. And again, the reason why these stereotypes are so strong and a lot of people are still fighting to keep these conservative ideas is because they were in control of the narrative. Again, I grew up in the 90s. The only time I saw anything gay is when it was a parody. For example, Men on Film. Okay? It was always a parody or always something funny to laugh at when it came to a gay person. The F word was used as if though it was some sort of a slur that's been used. I started looking at Rico's comment. Black people. You said black people are the problem. I feel like we all are part of the problem. It ain't just one group of people. Everybody is a part of the problem. It's the problem. I feel like for all of us is that we don't know how to communicate with each other. We don't know how to express what it is that we really want and even apply that in our lives. Which is why we have to always talk about each other as opposed to talking to each other. Which is why it's like now that I got StreamYard and shit, I will use your audio through copyright infringement act and actually act like I'm having the conversation so that we can do this. Because again, it's all a fear narrative. All these lines of division are created to keep human beings away from each other. But we can't just act like it's not there. We have to go through it, and that's the problem. Everybody wants to try to find a way to get around it, above it, underneath it. You will always have to go through it. But what are you learning as you go through it? What are you understanding about yourself and other people as you're going through it? And if we learn to be more open-minded and learn to be more on the frequency and vibration of love, if we really say we're going to do that, because we might find some similarities within ourselves which can make both of us stronger. So I do believe that white America is part of the problem. Black people are part of the problem. LGBT is part of the problem. We all here on earth is part of the problem. So the question that we need to be asking, instead of us arguing with each other and trying to prove who's wrong or who's right when we all motherfucking wrong and don't want to be right, my thing is, what are we going to do now that all this information is out? Now that all this stuff is out, what do we then do? What then we do now? Can't even speak, Lord. What do we then do now? There we go. So that we can start erasing these lines for good. Not putting a band-aid over it, but to erase these lines together so that we can get back to being what we are: human fucking beings. Anubis said, exactly, nobody's neither gay or straight because we are vessels, and it could be a female or masculine spirit. That's why we have the balance and duality. But that's the thing. But once again, according to Ron, progressive thinking is destructive. Yeah, of course, it's going to be destructive to something that is traditional, of course. Of course. Tradition doesn't want to change. It's comfortable where it's at. Why change? But that's the thing about life. Even nature, since people, especially on the right side, want to bring up nature. Nature stay talking about the cycle of death and rebirth, everything coming to an end. That means not just lives and physical things, but mental things, spiritual things, and emotional things. We're always growing and evolving, and we're living in a time where we're being called to grow and to evolve, and we're still holding on to these ideologies about ourselves that are not even true, that are false, and we try to identify with it. And sometimes to the point to where it's like, girl, even if you mean you talking about me and whooping on me, I'm just glad to be in the service one more time. I'm just glad to be in the building. It's the same thing, in my opinion, with a lot of individuals who are LGBT who are still in the church, where you have people who are objectively telling you, they're not even trying to be covert, they're objectively telling you, you bring into this building what you give, what you can benefit to the whole, which means, not even the whole to me, honestly, because I'm the one getting the money. You know what I'm saying? Bring your time, your talent, and your money to me. But as far as your humanity, the one part that God, Source Universe, wants to really get to know, that really wants to get connected to leave that outside. So you have people going into the church who are not worshiping in spirit and truth. They're worshiping in spirit and deception. There's nothing truthful about it because they're denying a part of themselves. And imagine growing up in a world where you're being told who you are and the expression of who you are as a phase, and it's wrong, and they're not even trying to they're not even trying to understand these people. They are saying this stuff simply, in my opinion, because of what other people are going to say about them. And it's like, damn, we already black, so you want to be black and gay? Well, damn, you already black and you said you was gay, now you trans. It's like, damn, why would you put another negative on top of a negative? But what if that's their experience? And the reason why it seems like a double negative is because of the world, the culture, the reality, objective reality, the conscious reality that everybody has to live in. We have to work through that. This whole kumbaya, or we just gonna pray about a girl and just wipe it away. We gonna take some pictures and shit. No, we gonna have to deal with this. And I'm talking about this type of work that we're gonna have to do is like, and I remember a wise mystic saying this. Shout out to him. Going through this whole situation, as far as healing is concerned, it's like going under the knife without any anesthesia. You're going to have to feel everything. And I mean everything. And it's not going to feel good. But it doesn't feel good right now. It don't seem right now. It's hurting right now. The pain is unbearable right now. But for the greater good and the longer run. You going through this thing is something necessary in order for you to grow and evolve as a person. So that's why I'm proud of you, Ron, for finding some sort of identity in the right wing. I hope you express that to us, because you telling us this. You already know what's going on. You just trying to help us understand and educate us on where you at, so that we can be like, oh, okay, I see. Well, for me, I'm not supporting the political bird anymore, because the bird only care about certain types of people. Certain types of people. But that's why I'm not going to trip, because now spirit has entered the chat. And when spirit come in, spirit, God, source, universe, is not a respecter of person. It don't care about titles. It don't care about elitism, classism, who people know you as, how much money you have, how much you own, how much influence you have. Spirit gonna be sitting there like, okay, and what, and what, and what, and what, okay, and what, and what, and, and. But again, that's just me.
Because I tell you that I'm black, when me being black or gay has nothing to do with me as a person in America. It has nothing to do with me as an American citizen who wants to see our nation rise and remain the most powerful country in the world.
I will say this: the way that you're saying that now, the way that you're speaking, that's exactly what a lot of black people and LGBT people feel. Why are y'all judging us based off of these y'all misconceptions? Y'all misconceptions. And Miss Candace was talking about, oh, the media, the media, the media. Are you going to talk about the same media that also portrays black people in a certain light that's negative? Is the media lying about that too? And you said nothing about that. When it came to Black Lives Matter and LGBT, ooh, girl, look at this, look at this, look at this. But if we really care about Black lives, why are we not addressing the actual situation that's messing up with Black lives? Why are we not speaking on those things in a higher fact? I'm just saying, if we're about Black lives, if we're about all lives, because if it's all lives, what's wrong with paying attention to the Black lives that's going through something? I mean, they paying attention to Asian lives. They pay attention to Jewish lives. There are certain lives. And again, until we start having the real conversation, which means, because we're going to have to listen to understand. Listen to understand. And I feel like what's happening outside of us, because like I said, black people, we got our own shit, but we talking about the context of your and responding to your Republican view. So we're talking about things outside of us which cause you to change certain things. I'm speaking about the things, again, that are factual. There's evidence from this, y'all, that has happened in history. And what's happening is that energy, even though the expression of that has changed, the energy is still the same. And again, just because your experience of blackness is different, we're talking about what happens to unfortunately be a monolithic view of blackness, which is pain and oppression. And what happens is, when people are oppressed, guess what? The oppressed soon become the oppressor, because now there is a form of power, which is why black people have a problem with LGBT people. And you just beautifully stated that when you said, don't judge when it, but see, it's the, but the funny part is that when it comes to, when we start saying, when it comes to me, I don't care what y'all do to them other motherfuckers, but when it comes to me, don't judge me. Even though I'm gonna do this to everybody else, don't do it to me. But that be the thing. Spirit don't see it that way. Spirit gonna be like, I'm both handed. Spirit is saying, girl, I'm both handed. I'm left handed and right handed, girl. I'm, what's that word? Ambidextrous or something? I'm that. Okay? Say, I'm verse, girl. I'm verse. I can sling it and take it. What do you want? That's that's the energy that is on. So it's just funny to me, and that's what's happening. A lot of people, the Black Lives Matter and LGBT and all this stuff and women's rights is just a response to what has already been the status quo for the longest time. And now that status quo, once again, has never been challenged. You don't challenge the status quo. And those who did suffer greatly, which is why a lot of people talk about, oh, the intellect. Y'all just intellectually stupid and stuff. Okay, then why can't y'all conquer? Then why can't y'all bring intellect? Why can't y'all bring the intellectual aspect into it? And then when you don't, let's go to the next best thing. Now we gotta instill fear in you. Because we tried to talk to y'all and y'all ain't get it. So now we got to whoop your ass. So that's what's happening. See, the Black Lives Matter and LGBT things wouldn't have been happening if there was nothing to respond to. This isn't just something that just woke up one day and just, hey, we're going to be mad today. Like, no, this has always been a response to oppression. And guess what? As black people, and black people going to be mad about this, but no tea, no shade, girl, we don't own the patent on oppression. Have we been the most oppressed factually, statistically, historically? It's right the fuck there, y'all. Y'all can just look. Just look. Just like Candace Owens was talking about, everybody looking here, look on this side. Well, why don't you go on the black side and see if you can find another side that I guess niggas ain't seeing? And then bring information to us. Like, why don't you go ahead and study some of black history and be like, nope, they lied. See, talked about this in 1846. Do that. Do that. Do that. Like, if you gonna really sit up here and really try to shut it down and do your big one, do the complete big one. No, black people don't take accountability to things. They always wanna blame. Again, this is not just a solely black thing. It's about all motherfuckers not being accountable. And that's why even with me, I'm gonna call my own people out. I'm gonna call black people out. I'm gonna call gay people out. And hell, if my ass start operating in some bullshit that seems to be kind of progressive, I hope somebody will be able to check me too, because I'm not above reproach. I'm not above being corrected, especially when it's going to benefit me in the long run. But the fact that we're not taking black people's experiences into account is the issue too, because now it seems as if though black people are complaining instead of y'all trying to figure out what black people are complaining about. Y'all want people to shut up. And that's the thing. People are not gonna shut up. It's like a baby. If you sit up here with a baby and you tell the baby to shut up, the baby gonna keep crying until it gets what the fuck it wants. Are y'all listening? Is the question. It's not just black people. It's all people. It's all of us. Every single one of us. And my thing is, in the areas that we are part of, we need to be accountable. Just like my black ass gonna sit up here and hold other black people accountable while holding myself accountable, because I can't hold nobody else accountable if I don't hold myself accountable. That would be the blind leading the goddamn blind. Okay, and I'm trying to live, and I'm living my best life and manifesting higher versions of that. LGBT to check LGBT lives, but it's also for white people to check white lives too. No tea, no shade. Because we're not going to sit up here and act like white people are squeaky clean in this shit, because they're not. Factually speaking, that's the problem. The facts are there. What more do you need to see? What else do you need to know? Yes, when it comes to blackness, that's an in-house thing. That's for black people by black people, because it's black problems. Black on black crime and all that stuff, that's black people. It had nothing to do with white people. But when we talking about the situation with white people, and just because black people have these things going on in their community does not erase or deny what the fuck white people have done. If anything, that's a deflection. It's like, okay, yeah, we got that going on in our community, but we talking about us. That's unrelated. That's unrelated. So are you saying that until black people care about their lives, you're not going to care about our lives? Is that the tea? I'm just saying, if that's the case, let me know. You said, why does one life only should matter, and why form a group altogether? At the end of the day, we all want, and black people today are stuck in the past. But my thing is, black people stuck in the past because white people keep bringing the past to the present. Again, I guess I'll speak from my experience as a black person. I've had this happen before. If I was to go into a white neighborhood and if I was to dress a certain way, I'm going to be followed. There's going to always automatically be an assumption that something is wrong, that I'm going to do something to somebody. Like, where did this innate fear come from? There have been times that I've been in white neighborhoods and stuff like that, where I've walked around and I've been followed by white people in every fucking aisle. Like, and there are literally videos of that. Like, why are people ignoring that? Like, you literally have the proof. This is proof. And then when we show you the proof, oh, something else happened. It's like, but you want people to validate you, but you don't want to validate other people. Like, I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me. And I feel like there are groups of people in the black community, in the LGBT community, in the women's community, and in the white community. Since we're all these communities, because we're not talking to each other, we're just blaming each other instead of talking to each other, girl. We're all playing a part in it. We're all giving our energy into it ignorantly. And I'm just going to be an individual that's going to be able to see it from all sides. Yes, is there accountability? But girl, it don't mean that your ass is not. So let's get back to this, y'all, because I'm it's getting a little long.
If you want to break out of the democratic oppression,
Mm-hmm.
then my best advice for you is to do what I did. Study politics,
Mm-hmm.
study Republicans, study Democrats with an unbiased point of view.
Wow.
Listen to debates and simply listen to
Unbiased for calling them they fucking idiots. You said it, this idiotic viewpoint and all this stuff. He said racism happens only in America. Anubis, actually, it don't. It don't. It don't. There's been factual evidence. You got motherfuckers in Japan that's over there protesting in reference to Black Lives Matter. Like, again, racism is a systemic thing that white people have created. Or I'll just say this discrimination, again, the elitism and the classism. Because the way I see racism is just elitism. Somebody has to be beneath me. There has to be somebody beneath me. I'm not going to do it. And I mean, black people were the people that were put underneath their feet the whole time. Like, again, it's the energy. It's the energy. So, yes, black people are going to have to do their part, but white people have to do their part too. And that's why I'm glad Spirit is coming into the chat, because Spirit is really the unbiased one that's going to be able to get people to face this stuff. So, yes, the social climate when it comes to racism and homophobia is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter until it reaches a breaking point. And it's a shame that it has to reach a breaking point, because if we actually sat down and had conversations with each other about this stuff, it wouldn't be so damn hot. Everybody's scared to talk to each other. There's literally a video, I got to find it. This black guy who, I'm talking about back in the 80s, 70s, 80s, they was still dealing with racism, like the social, the civil rights movement and all that stuff was still happening. Where this black man, who I guess he worked for a news station, a reporter station, something to do with reporting, ended up getting an interview with the leader of a clan, actual clan like the KKK. I think it was a Grand Dragon or something. I think that's what they call them. And at that moment, like the white guy, the Grand Dragon or Grand Wizard, shall I say, he didn't know that the person interviewing him was going to be black. So when the black guy walked into the office and he saw him, there was this level of tension there that you can cut with a knife. Both people were scared. The black guy was scared, like, well, shit, I'm talking to the Klan. He might just fucking kill me, because they just so expressive with their viewpoints and ideology of it. So who knows? I can come in this thing and leave out as a Christmas tree ornament. I don't know. You get what I'm saying? Not knowing that the Grand Wizard was just as afraid of him as that black dude was afraid of the Grand Wizard. But what happened is that the black guy kept being consistent with talking to him, and the Grand Wizard, who has been objectively, proudly expressing his viewpoint as far as the supremacy of whiteness, over time started to have more conversations with this black guy, ended up inviting him over to his house to meet his damn wife and stuff, just to have a conversation. And after a period of, I want to say, 3 to 4 years, the Grand Dragon ended up leaving the clan, because he was fed an ideology about something that was not true. His fear was used against him, just like the Democratic Party is using the fears and pain against black people and LGBT people, because it seems like the Democratic Party is like the underdogs, and all the underdogs are all the people who are lower on the totem pole, who just simply want to have a right to live the life they want to and experience their best version of their life. And we're living in a world now where there are people who are literally denying people that, and have been denying people that, and then when they get mad, tell them that, oh, they're silly, they're crazy. And it's like, yes, I'm a spiritual person, but I have to also understand that I'm on planet Earth, and that I have to be aligned with what's going on here, because I'm a part of this experience. God, so as universe sought for me to be here. So if I'm able to help bring clarity as much as I can, so that we can start operating in these kumbayas, we are one type of energy, we're gonna have to go through it. And the fact that we want to sit up here and kind of bypass that situation, especially after all these hundreds of years of oppression, girl, it's just not gonna happen. It's just not going to happen, girl, because it's not just a mental thing. It was a physical thing that was done. It was a spiritual thing that was done. It was an emotional thing that was done. And I mean, if you're going to sit up here and hold your promise to something, hold your damn promise to it. Okay? People with simple people and simple. Let me get to this thing. Okay, I might have to bring you up afterwards. I might have to bring you up afterwards because I would like to have this conversation with you because we keep saying we gonna have this conversation. I feel like well fuck it now we gonna we gonna have Ron fine ass okay fine ass as a goddamn conduit for this conversation. Let's continue.
To what makes more sense, because at the end of the day, being Republican is all about common sense. It's about Christian values. It's about putting our nation first. It's not about putting social ideas first. That does not help our economy. It is not about affirming if you're a
Gay marriage brought a lot of money to the economy. What are you talking about? Gays were able to get married now. Do you not do? I mean, have we not done the research? Like, have you done the research and looked and seen how it has actually brought more money to this? I'm trying to understand how the expression of blackness and get an LGBT has taken away. That's what I'm trying to understand. Because I can understand y'all having this viewpoint if it was taken away from y'all, but I'm trying to understand how is this expression taken away. So
it, or if you're a Dem, that does not affirm, that does not help our economy. We have Democratic leaders like Joe Biden sending
right.
billions of dollars to Ukraine. And Ukraine is actively, the president of Ukraine is actively asking for billions of more dollars. I believe $5 billion he's asking from the US.
Why President Volodymyr Zelensky asked the international financial community to step up.
The more assistance Ukraine gets now, the sooner we will come to the end of the Russian war.
And let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. America wants to be number one. They want to be the leader. They want to be the leader of everything. So when it comes down to the global council, isn't that a part of being able to strengthen your allyship with other people? I mean, if America was going through some sort of event where financially we desperately needed money, shit was fucked up, I'm pretty sure America would want to try to borrow from people who they have aligned and allied themselves with. So I don't see the problem with that. Is it the fact that these people are giving money away from America, so American or the right wing side feels less safe? Because if we're going to talk about all the money, isn't all the money really going to the security and defense of this country? Not the people. Because you said if because when the Republicans were in office, weren't there still homeless people? You brought up homeless people earlier. When the Republicans were in positions of power, did black lives change for the better? Were black people treated equally then? And then when the Democrats came in, this whole narrative of oh black people ain't being treated right is happening. I mean, black people have been saying this when Republicans have been in office too. So I'm trying to understand where this line of division comes from. I think what for me that I can agree with you on that, and even with King Anubis in the comments, shout out to him, is the fact that us as oppressed people, we're not learning how to love ourselves, so we keep wanting to put all of our attention onto other people in hopes and an effort that they'll hear us when they have proven that they haven't heard us. The Republican Party has not heard black and LGBT people, and if they have, please send me the information so that I can know for myself, so that I can know. Because if I'm wrong, again, I don't mind being wrong. I can be objective and know when I'm wrong. But if I feel I'm not wrong until I'm proven wrong, I'm going to feel and say what I say just like how you feel. So I'm yeah.
He estimates Ukraine will need significant injections of funds just to run the country in 2023 and billions more to rebuild it.
$38 billion to make up for the deficit of our budget for next year, including salaries for doctors and teachers. Another $17 billion to rebuild critical infrastructure, schools, hospitals, critical transport and energy infrastructure, and also housing.
The United States has already pledged $15 billion in support for Ukraine.
Why are we not using that money to get homeless people off the street? That Democrats claim that they love people so much. Why are we not using that money to get our veterans off the street? Why are we not using that money to get military people better care, better aftercare once they're discharged from the military? Why don't we use that money to
Why do we use all that money and millions of dollars to train these people how to be killers and murderers and just machines and terminators to go over there? Why do we spend all this money on these people having to go through psychological training and low-key trauma, being yelled at and put in positions to where they have to face their own sanity, and then when they get back there are no resources available for them to actually integrate and realign back to civilization? Because once again, these people are seeing people being murdered, heads being blown off, hell, they losing limbs, fucked up, having phantom limb pains and all this stuff. Like, we're not talking about that and trying to blame it. It's the fact that people don't care. People don't care. And I feel like there are some people who do care and use the information and the resources they have to help these people. And if that's the case, where are the facts that you can prove to me? For me, once again, me, I'm the one that allegedly is not educated when it comes to the Republican viewpoint, which according to you. So my thing is, what information can you give to me that shows me and proves to me as a black person, an LGBT person, how the Republican Party has benefited black people, had black people and LGBT people's best interests and concerns at heart? Where is that at? And I'm not talking about, oh, what hopes to come and what may come and down the road. I'm talking about factually now, to where y'all can stand here and speak as confidently as y'all do. That's just all I want to know. No shade.
Repair our infrastructure and rebuild our economy and rebuild our school systems, because the public school systems is not shit. I wouldn't put my kids in a public school systems if you
And guess what? And guess who the people are that go to public schools? Who are the ones going to public schools? Public schools.
really know about politics, then you know that they're making it a law to where if you don't affirm your child's LGBT, their gay agenda in general, if you don't affirm the gay agenda in your household, CPS, Child Protective Services, can come to your door and send you to jail because of that. If that's not controlling in the negative way, if that's not
Shout out to the social workers and the people who are actually, experiencing this. Shout out to them who have to deal with this, with the public people. A lot of people that other people don't want to deal with. Deal with the public people, the people who are lesser than, who are the degenerates, who are lower than the low. Just third of a person, third of a human. Reduced to sexuality and skin color and all these other low vibrational things. You know, Shout out to individuals who actually have the student loan debt to prove, they put in the work, you know what I mean, to be a social worker, to actually understand people's mindsets and stuff. And a lot of these people be in abusive type of homes. So you're having laws now that are being passed that are going to criminalize LGBT expression now. So all we're just saying is, if there's an LGBT person or a child in the house, at least allow them to at least grow old enough to be able to live their adult life however they want to. Because we've heard stories of children being murdered. Even me, when I first, when my father caught the first inkling of me being gay, it wasn't a, oh my God, son, are you okay? Let's talk about this. It wasn't trying to understand. It was straight up, I'm not having no fag son. It was straight up, the Bible does not condone this. It was straight up, there was nothing affirming, there was nothing redemptive, there was nothing fruitful and life-giving. It was just condemnation, fear wrapped up in condemnation. And it wasn't even really the fear of what would happen to the child or whatever, because a lot of people don't mind kicking their kids out the house. A lot of people don't mind throwing their kids out and letting them be on their own or whatever. They don't mind that type of shit. They'll do that if it means that I get to protect and prevent how people are going to view me as a parent. So yes, shout out to the individuals, girl, who understand the other forms of abuse that are happening to other people, girl, who understand that, and they're going to dedicate their life to make sure that those people who are being abused and used and oppressed are able to find a way, at least live long enough and be given the tools, like you said, the tools you were given the tools to actually free themselves so that they can live their best life and not live a life in mental chains because of what has happened in the past. So shout out to them for that. And if yes, if somebody's in there abusing a child, whether it's straight, gay, black, white, no matter what it is, anybody out there doing it, guess what? Yes, shout out to the individuals who are checking that out.
The opposite of progressive, then, as I said before, voting Republican means that you have common sense. I'm from Alabama. I'm going to vote red in November, and I'm going to vote red in 2024.
Girl, why a part of me feel like this is trolling? Why do I feel like I'm being trolled right now? Am I being trolled? Am I being trolled? I want to know. I mean, again, if this is how you really feel, that's cool and that's perfect and that's fine. But make sure my sound going on because this little Wi-Fi thing popping up here, girl. Whenever I talk about some shit like this, girl, shut it down. Girl, no, this is time for everybody to talk. Fuck that shut down shit. No. Girl, Spirit in the chat. Spirit don't give a fuck, girl. Let me see. Okay, good. We good. I thought I was fucking up on my audio. Okay, y'all. Let's continue. Let's continue.
I'm going to register to vote for the first time in my life. I'm going to go to a polling station. I'm going to go to a polling station and cast my vote. I'm proud to be American. I'm proud to be informed about politics. And I don't know any and everything. I
Right.
don't.
Right.
But in the past few months,
Same
I
here.
know more than I've ever known. And I feel more sure of myself than I've ever have. I've went through this identity crisis of trying to figure out who I am. And now when I realize who I am as a person, I have people who are telling me again as a black person, you should know better that there is systemic racism. As a gay person, you should know better that people are trying to oppress you. No one cares about your sexuality. No one cares who you sleep with. No one cares about your skin color. And
If that's the case, then why, whenever there is LGBT expression, when there's a gay character added to the show, I'm not saying the whole show is gay now. I'm just talking about just one damn character. Everybody else heterosexual, girl, fucking doing all this shit. But once the gay character is introduced, now it's a gay agenda. When there's a gay character introduced, now there's a gay agenda. When there's a gay movie, now it's a gay agenda. When there's an expression of it in a way that is not in what we believe should be the gay expression that we've been taught to believe to be the gay expression, girl, it makes you feel uncomfortable. So therefore, instead of educating yourself more about it, we end up demonizing it. And I think what people are saying is that, which again, I agree with self love, because when you love yourself, you're learning how to detach from life so that that shit doesn't fuck with you. But just because it don't fuck with you doesn't mean it's not fucking with other people, because there are some people who are stuck, and it's up for people who are learning to become unstuck and to become free to pay it forward. The only time you should be looking down on somebody is to help lift them up. And we live in a world now where people are getting kicked the fuck down. It's a crab in the barrel type of thing. There is a strong fear narrative being fed on both sides. Democrats are afraid of Republicans. Republicans are afraid of Democrats. Gays are afraid of LGBT, afraid of straights. Straights afraid of LGBT. White afraid of black. Black afraid of white. It's a lot of fear narratives going on here. That's why it's like we throwing all this stuff out. When are we gonna sit down and talk about what's really going on? Now, I respect your experience as a black person, because once again, you have a different, unique expression to you about what blackness is, and that's perfectly fine. But that does not mean that that's not happening for a lot of other people, because we can see that is actually happening to other people. And if people are people at the end of the day, shouldn't we try to find a way to have grace and mercy so we can understand that aspect? And the issue and problem that I have with a lot of the commentary that I've been hearing recently, in my opinion, some people feel like mine is problematic, and that's fine. Let's sit the fuck down and talk, though, and let's see what's really problematic, though. Bub said drop the link. I still ain't forgot. But I I don't mind you having opposing views. It don't mean that for me, it don't mean I hate you. Oh fuck you. I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna unfollow you. Oh my god. I mean, I was shocked, but at the same time, I still respect the person that you are. Again, I got King Anubis in the chat. King Anubis is not afraid to speak his mind and say his viewpoint, and I don't sit up here. Oh, I don't go in. No, why? He has a different, unique perspective, and sometimes a unique perspective is good. We ain't gotta agree on everything, but does that mean that I have to now hate you and fuck you and all? No, that's just not in my energy. It's not in my spirit. And the more that I learn to love myself, the more I'm able to be more open-minded with people. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with people, and we don't know everybody, and everybody wants to be heard. And I feel like there is a way for everybody to coexist peacefully, but we have to be willing to face the fears about what we have with each other and actually get down to it. That's why I say I appreciate individuals like Jane Elliott. Ron, I know you talked about Candace Owens. Have you ever did research on this individual named Jane Elliott? Janeelliot, I believe that's how you spell Elliott. White woman who educates other white people about racism. There's literally a clip on YouTube where there was a white girl who completely had a nervous breakdown, was crying and all this type of stuff. And baby, Miss Jane or Jan, I think it's Jane, had to get her two and together. And she's a white woman. This was a white woman getting another white woman together. We're not talking about black and white and black people. This was a white woman who was getting another white woman together. See, that's what's required. That's what's required. If we have more people that's able to get their own people together and to check their own bullshit that all of us got, because we all got bullshit. That's why we're willing. That's why we're talking again at each other as opposed to each other, to understand each other. And I feel like, Ron, you might be an individual who, low key, because you have a big platform. You have almost 100,000 subscribers. And you're probably going to get new subscribers because of this. So I feel like you have the opportunity to use your platform in an evolving way. Even if it's the way that you experience it now, you express it now, again, it's your platform. But I hope that you're an individual that's willing to try to find the gray area, even with people who believe in democratic stuff. Because like I said, I'm not supporting the system no more as far as casting my vote. And I know black people say, oh, all the black people who died so you can vote, yeah, and motherfuckers still dying too while they voting, girl. So at this goddamn point, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'd rather not give it my energy. No shade. Okay? But let's finish, girl, because we almost at 3 hours, girl, and I wasn't even trying to be this long, honestly.
And as I break out of the black and white lens, I'm living my life in Alabama happily. I'm making conversations with people. I'm smiling at people. I'm realizing that people aren't looking at me thinking Nigger. People are not looking at me thinking, oh, black, oh, gay.
Right.
People are looking at me based on how I present myself, which is educated, successful, once in poverty, but now using my influence to push myself out of poverty. I'm using my influence for a greater good of America, and I'm proud of it. In the period that I realized that I'm not a Democrat, I spent the previous month on my platforms posting my conservative ideas, and again, people were coming at me and are coming at me left and right about it. Like I said, people loved me when I had my mouth shut and was just using my influence to provoke a sexual nature, but people do not like me when I'm using my mind to think. All the hateful comments from, again, these loving Democrats who preach peace and love, amongst all those hateful comments under my statuses where I'm sharing my conservative ideas, I got a comment from a white man, and his race doesn't matter, but it's important that I mention it.
Okay.
I got a comment from this man who said that you should definitely push through with your idea of starting a woke and broke conservative commentary podcast, because you will be a great influence to your peers to break out of that chained mindset of oppression that the Democrats feed us. And he ended the comment by saying that he's a veteran, and that right there, it gave me this confidence to feel like I am on the right path, because not only him, there were a small group of, again, white people who they tell me to hate because they hate me, giving me so much love and support on my ideas when I would, type my comments under conservative posts and democratic posts that the White House will post. I want black people to know that before they scream racism to me, do some research. Understand that Jim Crow laws were created by Democrats to keep black people oppressed and segregated because black people were in Republican parties before everyone somehow became synonymously Democrat out of nowhere. And understand that your ideas
Again, send me that information, please. I would love to educate myself.
on defunding the police is hurting our community. Your ideas of forcing this gay agenda, and I've had gay people under my social media posts tell me that the gay agenda doesn't exist. Well, that's because, in my opinion, they're so brainwashed and so involved in the gay agenda that they can't even realize that they're perpetuating this horrible state of mind.
Since LGBT people, because I guess people consider my commentary to be, oh girl, you reprobated in homosexuality. So I guess as a reprobated homosexual, according to y'all, from y'all perspective, girl, because I don't mind playing the game with y'all as far as this girl, because I know who I am for real, so I don't mind playing. Um, Girl, for us who are that, who can't see because we're just so blinded by just the lust and the sex and just, oh my god, even though straight people act like they don't do this, girl. Like Meg Thee Stallion talking about riding dicks, Tyga talking about fucking pussy, Chris Brown talking about eating pussy. Like, do you have kids right now on TikTok, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, girl, all races, girl, out here doing the latest dance to songs and motherfuckers talking about sipping lean, popping perks, and all this shit. Again, everybody want to be a nigga but don't want to be a nigga. It's like you want to acknowledge the good things about black people but not accept the bad things that are happening with or against black people. Like, again, where is this information that you're saying? Because again, I would like to educate myself. And then it's, I'm just, like, again, for me, I'm just curious to know what the experience is going to be like once you start really delving into the Republican events and the Republican commentary and all these things, because just like you say, sexuality, people are going to bring up your sexuality. They're going to. They're going to. They're going to address that. They have to. They're not going to just sweep it under the rug because you're doing this. No, 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 because there's going to be some parts of you that they're not going to want there. And I don't know. No tea, no shade. Again, this is just me speaking. It's the weed speaking. Again, I don't know you. I'm just speaking. Don't take it the wrong way. But girl, I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe this opportunity will give you the opportunity to feel like what it's like to be a nigga. Or to be gay. Because like you said, you don't want people to judge you for that, but yet you're judging those people too. So are you saying like I'm gay, but I'm not that gay? You still are attracted to men. You still want to have sex with men. So how is that going to look? Are they going to be okay with two men raising kids, or do you feel like you would have to conform and be with a woman so that you can fit this narrative and mold and this acceptance of, I finally found my identity in my place? Now, I'm proud of you for saying that you're evolving in self-love, because that's when you find your true identity. When you love yourself, yeah, you don't be attached. You're able to acknowledge what's going on. You're able to be objective about what's going on and to be right and to be fair about what's going on, but you don't let that consume you. Unfortunately, a lot of black people are consumed emotionally. Again, black people have been surviving for years. You just can't expect people who have survived for years to just live. It's kind of like people when you were talking about national defense and veterans and stuff, how these veterans go over there and have their whole lives changed and traumatized in the blink of an eye, and being told and then having to react so that they don't die in the midst of that and get the job done, to where they come home, there's nothing there to help them recalibrate back to normal civilization. To where that's why the veteran suicide rate is going up. And if the Republicans, like you were saying, or these people who have this viewpoint of love, because at the end, it's like we're talking at each other, but not to each other, because it's like, well, you do it, so I'm gonna do it. Well, tit for tat, and tit for tat, and tit for tat. When we gonna have tit and tat in reference to the all of us being accountable of our own problems? And maybe it starts with us. Maybe it starts with us individuals who are who are now speaking up. I'm so happy to be alive in a time where people are exercising their freedom of speech, because now we can actually see what the hell is going on. And I appreciate Ron, even though people don't agree. I appreciate him having the courage to do that, because once again, like he mentioned, he already felt like he was struggling to try to fit in somewhere, and so now it's like he's willing to stand in the midst of all the hate that he gonna get, because it's like, y'all was hating on me anyway, so shit, I might as well say some more shit at this point. And before I take it away, I add more to it type shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out William McCrae, man. Vampire ass. First of all, I was watching some of his videos today. I was like, damn, I could win as this nigga for Halloween. But let's finish, y'all, because for real, it's about to be 3 hours. God damn.
The sexual revolution, as Ben Shapiro has been calling it, and I'm a huge fan of Ben Shapiro. They don't
I will say Ben Shapiro is a good debater. That nigga is very, very smart. He is a very, very smart debater. No shade, no shade. He's very, very good. I will give him that.
even realize that they're pushing those ideas on our kids, which is the gay agenda.
But then the kids, once again, if we're going to talk about sexualizing the kids, let's talk about sexualizing the kids overall, because once again, children are sexualized with the cultural and social construct of sexuality. Again, I have a video addressing Lance Scurv, hashtag BubzDaGawd, drop the link, I ain't forgot, and Bootsy, badass bottom, loose Bootsy bottom, bad burnt pan bottom, where I literally, let me go back, girl. I forgot my thought. I be talking so much shit, I be forgetting.
Huge fan of Ben Shapiro. They don't even realize that they're pushing those ideas on our.
Oh yes, the sexualization of children. That's what it was. Thank you. I told you, this BubzDaGawd. I'm gonna get back on it, and God gonna bless me. I'm still free with this shit. Hell yeah. But the sexualization of children, like once again, I did a video. Children are sexualized even in movies. All these characters always had to have a romantic situation between male and female, so there was a sexualization of that. I mean, hell, growing up in motherfucking school, didn't they have sex ed in school? Sex ed? And we live in a world now with information and literally a computer in our hand, to where now people are learning this stuff beforehand. And what's being revealed is the fact is that, okay, yeah, y'all been sexualizing the kids, but it's funny, once LGBT expression is introduced, because God forbid there's LGBT people in the world who actually know how to love and actually have morals and values and actually, you know, aren't sexually immoral creatures and all this other stuff we've been taught to believe. Like, once they start telling that story, it becomes uncomfortable, because you're so used with this other narrative that you heard for so long, and then you see somebody out here actually doing the opposite of it. Like, even for me as a gay man, it took me a minute to watch gay people kiss and be comfortable with it, because there was a point in time to me where it was like, oh my god, I would feel nervous, because it was like, damn, because there was something still in me that made me feel like I wasn't worthy of that because of how I was raised. Again, there are gay kids as well. I was one. I was never touched, never touched. Ain't no locked memory in my mind, girl. I got to be hypnotized to unlock. My brain ain't do no type of shit to protect myself or some shit, girl. Especially with the ego death I had, it would have been popped up if that was the case. But I've never had any of these stereotypical things happen to me. And I'm still gay. Girl, where'd it come from? Where'd it come from? Now it's a demon, girl? Or it could simply be the fact that God's source universe is so omnipotent and so infinite that it's allowing itself to be expressed in so many different ways, which is why God's source universe, especially for those who are evangelical, who believe the Bible is the only way, truth, and the life, girl, this thing is so powerful, girl, that it was here before us, during us, and after us. So there's so many different expressions of that. It's our job to find the God in the midst of the mess. And how can we do that when we're talking about each other as opposed to each other? And then, according to the narrative of the Bible, when you had an individual who was actually not just talking Jesus Christ, talking about unity, but actually was walking it out and was actually dealing with the oppressed people and uplifting them and encouraging them, they didn't promote him to president. They didn't bring him in front of great men and say, look, he's the individual that's answering all the problems of the people. Hell no. They killed his ass because he was actually freeing the people and not having the people dependent on something. And that's the problem. We're all dependent on other people outside of us who have proven statistically, factually, for decades, for centuries, that they don't fucking care about you simply because they don't know how to care about themselves. Let's continue.
Our kids, which is the gay agenda. I've been creating content on the internet for many years, and this is the most profound I've ever felt. If you are like me, young, black, LGBT, and are interested in learning more about politics and learning more about how you should be more involved in politics, not as a Democrat because you've been told to be a Democrat, but be involved as a conservative because that is where the success of our country leads to. My new web series, Woke and Broke Conservative Commentary with BubzDaGawd, will be available on YouTube. It will be available on Facebook. So if you're on YouTube and Facebook, you can catch my content on both of those platforms. And again, I'm getting a lot of attacks. So if you are conservative, I could use your support. You may feel like I am pushing against the current with my decision to be Republican, but I'm going to tell you this. This is the most, even though it feels like socially I'm pushing against the current, this is the most with the current I've ever felt in my entire life. I'm enjoying having conversations with all kinds of people. I'm enjoying pushing a revolution for black people to become united with the American society and not stay oppressed under this Black Lives Matter, which you know is a scam. And the gay agenda will be the next scam that I want to expose, because a lot of people think that in the LGBT, and so many goddamn
I'm so glad that me and him studied. I don't feel bad.
letters, just in the LGBT community, people believe that the gay agenda does not exist. But as a former gay agenda activist, I promise you the gay agenda is alive and well, and it's moving right under your noses, especially if you have children. You need to be more involved in politics than anyone. So with that being said, I love you guys. I love God. I'm a Christian. I love America. I love Donald Trump.
Girl, why part of me feel like he trolling, girl? If he trolling, girl, I'm gonna have to cash app this nigga. Like, bitch, you did a good job, girl. Like, Oscar goes too. Like, cause when he said all this stuff back to back, a part of me be like, nah, I feel like this some shit that Ron would say, girl. Is this a ploy? Is this something? Cause if so, if it is, at least DM me. I'll play along with your ass, okay? Cause at this damn point, if you troll it, no, but for real, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But if you really, if that's how you really feel, that's perfectly fine. And again, my commentary, I'm letting you know personally. That's even if you watch my stuff, because you got over 100,000 subscribers, so you probably even thinking about my little short leprechaun ass, which is fine. I'm still gonna, give commentary on your stuff though. But if you happen to watch it, I would be open to have a conversation with you, about this, to be free about it. I mean, I'm cool. Like, I feel like it would actually be dope. And I mean, bring the people who agree with you as well. Let's have a conversation. Like, let's talk to each other. I feel like it's possible. And there are people in the world, and I'm learning more about this myself because I've been kind of introverted for like a hot little minute in my cocoon phase, really learning to love myself so that when I do press more of my social media awareness out there, that I can be able to relate to as many people as I possibly can by starting with myself first. And that means learning to love myself in all the areas, learning to love myself for who I am, who I'm not, who other people believe me to be, who they believe me to not be, to love myself first, and then help to inspire that in other people, so that true freedom. Because I feel like all this stuff, the opposing opinions, I'm grateful for it, because this is how you get the truth. This is how you get to ultimate objective, of spiritual law above all things celestial truth. I'm for it. So let's finish this up.
I hate Nancy Pelosi. I hate all kinds of Democrats. I hate the people who.
Don't hate,
I don't even know
love.
if I could trust the FBI for offering $1 million to prove something that was totally fake. Because, again, I have a lot to say. Make sure that you guys follow my platforms. I hope that you guys find me, because we do know that it's getting hard to express conservative values in a liberal America. In my heart, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I
And
don't feel like I'm being.
and to be honest, if that's what you feel like, do that. Follow your heart. I'm not gonna tell you not to do otherwise. Like, follow, if that's what you feel like in this time, and I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna judge you because I feel like everything works. Everything is working for your good, even when people think that it's a waste of time and just no. Something is always working for your good. It's about finding what that good is in the midst of it. And if you feel like this is actually helping you to be a better person and show up as a better person, like for real within your own personal life, fuck my opinion, fuck the opinions of other people. Like in your own personal life, you feel like you're doing the right thing and and that feeling is being affirmed to you outside of you genuinely and authentically, then do it. Then do it. I'm for that. I would never ever do it. If it makes you happy, do it. As long as you ain't hurting nobody and hurting yourself, do it. But we still gonna commentate though. I'm just saying, we still gonna give commentary. Let's continue.
Chase to be accepted by anyone, because as a black and gay person, I think to come out as conservative is socially killing yourself. But I'm strong enough to have my own identity. I'm strong enough to have my own beliefs. And I know that other people like me will find me and will support me and will assure me that I'm moving in the right direction. I hope that.
And the people that's helping you to move in the right direction are those who are going to come in opposition. Again, you're gonna have people who come in opposition who are really angry at you and mad at you and are projecting their anger onto you because once again you're black, you should know, you know what I'm saying? But there are other individuals who will be able to be emotionally intelligent enough. Because sometimes when people say certain things, it might be like, okay, girl, you got to check yourself. We're human, right? We're passionate people. I'm not going to apologize for being passionate. I mean, that's a part of life. You know what I mean? We're all passionate people. But there are people who are willing to work again through that to get to it. Because if you have enough people who come together truthfully and honestly, who genuinely have one common cause, it's about, okay, how the fuck do we get there? And I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't. I'd rather be in a room full of smart ass people, girl. So like, if we end up being in a goddamn escape room, bitch, we can get out because you know some shit that I might not know. I know some shit that you don't know. He might know some shit that we don't know. You know what I'm saying? And we can all escape together because we're all a part of this, and everything affects us together. And what my fear is that there's going to come a point in time where we might get to a point where it's considered. I don't think it really is because anything is possible, but could be considered, unfortunately, if everybody feels that way, to be too late, to where when the time comes for us to come, and it's so crazy. It's like whenever tragedy strikes us all at once, we all of a sudden want to drop the barriers. You want to drop, even with, no, I ain't gonna say. For a moment, even with black people, it was about, oh, when the police brutality was being televised, something that has been happening statistically and factually and culturally for black people for years was actually being televised. Of course, black people are going to support it because it's like people was getting fucked up and shit without cameras and stuff. But now that we have cameras and we actually document it, now there's still excuses like, girl, we showing you what this is. But if you but you as a white person has a right to automatically judge me as a black person and think that I'm doing something wrong, and you don't even have the goddamn proof. But here I am with the damn proof, and I'm the one that's wrong. That's why people be upset. But again, I can work through that because I know who I am. Okay, and I'm proud of you, Ron, for discovering a part of you where you feel like you're getting to know yourself. Again, I'm not. This commentary is not to denigrate you as a person or to judge you as a person. I'm just giving my commentary based on your perspective, your opinions, your views. That's simply it. And again, it would be dope to actually have a conversation with you, whether it be on a podcast. I would love it. I would actually love it, and bring the supporters and everything too. Like, let's talk. All I'm gonna say is, can we roll up? Let's roll up. I don't know. Do you still smoke weed? Is Republicans, are y'all allowed to smoke weed? I mean, I know y'all do it on the low, but I mean on the outside where you showing everybody, because the traditional values and stuff, is you able to smoke weed? And if so, let's roll up some good weed and shit like that. and let's have a conversation. I feel like it would be dope. Now, y'all, let's really finish this so I can go because it's about to be 5 in the morning, and I still got to work on episode 2 of Beagle News, girl. It's girl.
That you guys share it to everyone that you know, and I hope that you really listen to what I'm saying, because everything that I'm saying is backed by facts. I don't speak with opinions, I don't speak with emotions like the Democrats do. And with that being said, vote red in the midterms in November, vote red in the 2024 election. I'm from Alabama, I'm voting for Kay Ivey and whoever else is Republican. Pro-life, Christian values, national defense, enough of this gay agenda, pronouns, women are feelings and not biological, enough of all that bullshit. It's time to make America great again. I want every Democrat, every progressive, every liberal to understand that us Republicans, and me being black and gay, I'm saying this with my chest out and my head held high. Us Republicans are uniting America, of all races, of all religions, of all walks of life. Immigrants who come in
You say you're uniting that, but let's listen again to what your values are as a Republican. And and I mean, no shade, no shade, no shade. It just caught my mind. It's caught my mind, And I just want to hear it again. So you express what you believe to be the values of a real Republican, which rightfully so. You have the right to do that. But then you're also talking about how Republicans are truly uniting America, and then you express what that actually looks like. So let's listen to that one more time.
I'm from Alabama. I'm voting for KI, and I think to come out as conservative is socially killing yourself. But I'm strong enough to have my own identity. I'm strong enough to have my own beliefs. And I know that other people like me will find me and will support me and will assure me that I'm moving in the right direction. I hope that you guys share it to everyone that you know. And I hope that you really listen to what I'm saying, because everything that I'm saying is backed by facts. I don't speak with opinions. I don't speak with emotions like the Democrats do. And with that being said, vote red in the midterms in November. Vote red in the 2020.
Okay, so this is I guess the rundown or the list of what's required. I guess I believe I'll say ignorantly speaking, is imperative to be once again a individual who stands on the true Republican aspect. So listen to this.
For election, I'm from Alabama. I'm voting for Kay Ivey
Vote for Kay
and
Ivey.
whoever else is Republican.
Anybody Republican. Everybody.
Pro-life,
Pro-life,
Christian
Christian
values,
values,
national defense,
national defense.
enough of this gay agenda, pronouns,
The gender
women
pronouns.
are feelings and not biological,
feelings.
enough of all that bullshit. It's time to make America great again.
Okay, so again, according to him, and again, ignorantly speaking, according to him, this is what's required to be a Republican. You just heard that Christian values, having the objective facts, being emotionally intelligent, emotionally superior girl to all these other ignorant, stupid ass people. Okay. No to the gender roles, national defense to protect America from people who are not American, who is trying to threaten the American dream. Just all these things, okay? And then what did you say? Who did you say is uniting America, and how that's gonna happen?
And I want every Democrat, every progressive, every liberal to understand that us Republicans, and me being black and gay, I'm saying this with my chest out and my head held high.
Right.
Us Republicans are uniting America, of all races, of all religions, of
All religions, but yeah, Christian value. Okay, all religions is cool, but Christian value is number one.
all walks of life.
All walks of life is cool, girl, but heterosexuality is number one.
Immigrants who come in legally, we're inviting, we're loving,
Oh, so when you legal, you can come in and we can love you and all this stuff. But if you coming in illegally, we gonna murder you. We gonna kill you. Even though they have been told that America is the greatest place on earth, girl, to where they're willing to die, girl, to be able to see the American dream, girl. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, if we gonna play these games, girl, Native Americans, why ain't y'all standing up, girl? The indigenous people, why you not standing up, girl? You don't talk about nobody being illegal aliens, girl. When this land was stolen, it was stolen.
just want to create a economy where everyone has a fair shot to the American dream, home ownership, good paying jobs, no government handouts,
No government handouts. Okay, so are you saying that these people are not going to pour money into black communities and give black people opportunities to live a prosperous life? I ain't talking about going to work for Chrysler and GM and stuff for 40 years and work overtime and hell and paint and being fucked up and all this stuff and can't even really retire. Got to work at Walmart and shit when they supposed to be living their best life, girl. Are they going to be able to have the opportunity to make money and then be able to experience that quote unquote wealth that's going to come, that the Republicans are going to give to black people and LGBT people in order for them to live better lives? And if that's the case, what does this look like? What does the plan look like? If you had somebody coming to you who was struggling on whether they wanted to be Democrat or Republican, and they were black and gay, what would you show them to be like, hey, look at this. This is why you need to do this. Girl, when you black, you about to get this, this, this. They said fuck 40 acres. They about to give you 60 acres and 3 mules, girl. They gonna give it to us. What are the facts that you believe to be true to where black people should do this? LGBT people should do this.
And none of these progressive pronouns, biology, science twisting ideas, which the progressives seem to love science when it comes to medicine, but they hate science when it comes to biology and gender.
Girl, and this coming from people who don't even actually understand what the definition of science means. That means like the evolution, to understand things, to actually test these theories and stuff. And again, when you talk about trans women and trans men, we're talking about the social constructs that come with that. That's why they say trans women. They're not saying, oh, I'm trans. No, it is trans woman. And on top of that, how is that hurting you? How is that hurting you? How is that really hurting you? How is a woman getting an operation done, a woman who has gone through what is required for her to do that? Because I don't know if y'all believe that they're just handing out pussies and titties like it's everything. No, these people have to go through certain requirements that are strict regimens to even classify them for things such as reassignment surgery. There are things in place to help these people understand, is this what you really want to do? And then on top of that, there are some people in the world, contrary to what you believe or what you want to believe, who actually know who they are. Just like you can stand proud as a black gay man, why can't a trans woman stand proud in who she is? When society believes that trans and gay is practically the damn same thing, it's just a different expression of it. So what makes your experience of you being gay more righteous than her experience of being trans? At least from the Republican standpoint, what does that look like? Again, help me, because I don't know.
Go figure. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.
All right, y'all. So shout out once again to move this shit out the way. Move this. Shout out to Ron for his opinion. I appreciate it. He really did that. He did his big one. Okay. Shout out to everybody who came through. I was not expecting this video to be at least over 3 hours, bro. I was like, bro, I was gonna come in and do this damn video for at least an hour and a half and be done. I would have done it earlier, but once again, I was trying to do something, because again, with my edits, I was trying to create an audio spectrum, and I guess it kind of was too much on my computer, so it was talking about 3-4 hours. I'm like, oh, it is not that damn serious for no 3-4 hours. So I kind of gave y'all what I gave y'all. But again, I want y'all to go ahead and subscribe to Ron and learn from Ron. Like, once again, this is iron sharpening iron. It doesn't have to be in a negative type of way. Because once again, we have to remember that people are living and speaking through their own experiences. It's about finding those areas within ourselves that actually align. Because, again, Ron is saying, Republican, but completely demonizing Democrats. Like, you're not saying anything redemptive about them. You're not pointing out anything on the side that would be good to kind of, like, I guess, bring more context and balance and nuance to it. It was just the fact of, they're stupid, they're dumb, they don't know what they're talking about. That's kind of what it gave. But then you want people to not do that to you. You want people to see you for more than your skin color and for more than your sexuality. And there are people in the world who are going to do that, and that would be the goal in life. But for a lot of other people, that's just not the case, and that's why these people are saying something about it. Point blank. Period. We cannot sit up here and want our experience of life to be validated, but not validate the experiences of other people. So I'm glad that you're speaking your truth. I'm glad that you have found this new identity, or like I said, a level of awareness of yourself now that makes you feel happy and feel connected. And that's cool. You know, like I said, my commentary is not to denigrate or to bash you as a person. I just want to have a conversation about the viewpoints, and I hope that you will. I've tried to have conversations with other people who've been here on this earth longer than you, who believe in traditional values as well, who are afraid to have the conversation. But I mean, they say the children are the future. You're younger than me, so I'm proud of you finding your voice. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to face opposition. You're going to have people who are going to project their hatred on you, because at the end of the day, above racism, homophobia, xenophobia, transphobia, all these phobias, these fears of what these things or these expressions are, above all those things, we are all one. We are human. And I know you believe that the Republican Party is going to do that, and I would love for them to do that if that was the case. But looking at their track record, it just doesn't appear to be that way. And you can't be mad when people are questioning you. I mean, these people are politicians and stuff. They need to be used to people questioning them, because they are representing them. They are the people that put these people into positions of power. And all the people are saying is that they want the people in there. But what is the people, though? Who are the American people? And if it is, what's wrong with having different thought processes and expressions and ways of life? It helps to make life even more interesting. There might be some strengths that one group might have that another is weak in, and because there's a respectable type of situation there and there's equality, we can help each other, as opposed to I have to be better than you, I have to be smarter than you, my knowledge is superior. How about the fact that we can learn to love ourselves, really talk through this shit, yell if we have to yell, scream if we have to scream, cry if we have to cry, get all this low vibrational, dense energy out of ourselves, and actually get onto the healing so that we can manifest this together. So, thank y'all so much for joining me. It is 5 o'clock on the dot. I'm not in my drop top cruising the streets, even though I'm gay. I'm at home right now, by myself. I ain't fucking nobody. Okay? My choice, bitch. I mean, if I want to, it is what it is, but I'm just saying. But thank y'all for rocking with me. Make sure y'all subscribe to Ron Fugata. Share your thoughts and your opinions. If you want to go see the video for yourself, go ahead. And if he continues to do the woke and broke conservative commentary, I will definitely be giving my my commentary on it, and hopefully, like I said, it'll give us an opportunity to actually talk about this for real, in real time, which would be pretty dope. So I want to say thank you to Neres, thank you to King Anubis coming into the building. I love the thoughts and the other perspective, because again, it helps me to think on my toes and to learn. Shout out to I Am Christina. Shout out to, I already said Neres, right? Shout out to Neres. Yeah, shout out to Neres. Excuse me. Shout out to Amber. Shout out to Aaron. And shout out to Harris. And shout out to everybody who comes through on the replay gang. And leave your thoughts down below. Whether you agree, disagree, let me know. And let's talk about it. Until next time, everybody. Peace and love. BubzDaGawd is signing the fuck out. See y'all.